everybody. Welcome to Frame Trap. You might be noticing something. We're a little bit brighter. We're a little bit clearer. This is going to be the first Easy Allies show. This Frame Trap is going to be the first Easy Allies show with the new equipment.
Test run, baby.
Test run. I'm terrified, but hopefully everything's right.
You're not more terrified than I am.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah, Brad's fine.
I'm fine. I don't
Brad's
gotta do
looking
much.
cool in this sick-ass Castlevania shirt.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's
very
from fangamer.com.
Fangamer.com.
We also have merch.
There are
Yeah.
Easy Allies shirts on fangamer.com
that's right.
/Easy Allies.
If you're an audio-owning listener, to describe Brad's shirt, it's got a beautiful Castlevania castle. It's got a bat flying above a...
Simon
Richard
right
or
here.
something?
I think that's Simon.
Okay.
Like Dracula's face silhouette right here.
Oh, I didn't even notice that, Brad.
Whoa.
If you're new to Frame Trap, this is a show where we talk about video games, where we love video games, and sometimes we love them so much we say bad things about them.
Yes.
Joining me today, they've already spoken up, which is beautiful, is the ever-cool Bradley Ellis.
Kazuma.
Brad, that's always how I describe you. It's always ever-cool.
Yeah.
I think you are sometimes the best under pressure out of all of the allies. Sometimes when
I think I'm just good at hiding it.
Could be. You could
Yeah,
be.
I think that's
good
it.
at hiding it. Or maybe we're just all bad at hiding it.
Maybe, yeah.
We need to learn some showmanship, I think. And the ever cool Ian Hink.
Isn't that what he is?
Dude, we're both cool now.
But it's a different kind of cool. And
Sure,
I want to
sure.
explain this a little bit because this is intentional. Brad, you can't shake him, okay?
Uh-huh.
No matter what he's doing. Ian Hink, we come in here, we've got all this new equipment.
Always shook.
Not always shook, but like I need to express to the audience how well Ian Hink comes in here and he's like, okay, this is what this does. This is how it can look better. He's just like got it all figured out. He's like doing all these crazy math equations in his head with camera equipment, and he just knows what's up. And every single ally, from Don to Damiani, anytime there's a camera question, we immediately go to Ian Hink because he knows exactly what he's talking about. Ian knows his shit. And that's very important in this business when you have other people who do not know their shit. So it's very good. So thank you, Ian Hink, is what I'm trying to say.
I got the cool narrowed down of the kind of cool, Ian.
Oh, yeah?
So I will fall in the camp of the California skateboarding, surfing, whatever, all that camp. And you're on the other side of like the awesome music side.
Oh, sure.
Like, this kid's 60, good at music and knows a lot about it.
Yeah, and I'm the tightly wound, anxiety-riddled Ben Moore. I'm going to be hosting this new and hopefully improved. I think there's going to be some things in this Frame Trap.
What a cool dude.
Thanks, Brad.
I'm currently
It's a pity
noticing
bump.
like ways I could make the lighting more
That's a
even.
sincere plug. It's a sincere bump up. Ben Moore's a cool dude.
Thanks, Brad. I like to open the show. If you're not familiar with it, I like to warm us up a little bit. We actually were warmed up earlier today. We do weekly hunts. We play Monster Hunter together. And I think that kind of set the scene. We ranked fast food. We talked about how you shouldn't watch anime on Sundays because it's a holy day.
Yeah, Mac me.
Ian is trying to improve the shot right now. Don't be alarmed. We're figuring this all out. So, Brad, we got an email last time, and I'm going to crib from that email, and I want to talk to you, and I want to ask.
Okie dokie.
It's E3 time.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to E3 and you haven't done E3, it's hard to convey how crazy it is. And I don't mean that like pity me, I have to go to E3
Correct, yes.
kind of a thing, but it is insane.
Yes.
Like, it's just the whole thing is insane. You get there and you've got robots from Horizon walking around. There's way too many people. You've got to get to things. They're crammed in booths where you may not necessarily know where they are. It's just a frantic mess.
Yeah.
And then you get on here and you deal with these chuckleheads and you talk about video games and, they might throw you off your game. It's just chaos. It's chaos from beginning to end. But we are in the calm before the storm right now.
Yeah.
We're at the end of May.
For sure.
Once it hits June 1st, I start to get a little bit more anxious. But we're at the end of May, and my question to you is there any way that you mentally prepare yourself for E3? Is there anything that you do pre-E3, some sort of ritual or practice or state of mind?
Sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep?
Yeah. What do you, like, everybody sleeps. Do you mean you do extra sleep?
I get extra sleep.
Okay.
And I also, I set up the mental games in my head of, it's going to be like we were saying, it's going to be like we're super tired. We're up late all the time. We're just tired always, but it's still E3 and it's super fun and rad, and I feel super privileged to be able to do it.
So it's like you're preparing your body.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, I'm going to be mad and tired at a point probably.
Yeah.
But it's still awesome, no matter what.
Brad, kind of bouncing off of that good sleepness.
Yeah.
I've been Well, not completely, but I've been trying to eat better. We've been making a lot of our own food with like
Great.
fresh ingredients and stuff. And I've found that like the act of cooking, the act of like just the mechanical act of like chopping up onions or zucchini or whatever it is, and just like not having any distractions and focusing on a simple task really helps,
Yeah,
man.
it's super relaxing for me too.
Yeah.
Wu Wei.
What's that now?
That's what the Taoists would call Wu Wei, or non-action action.
This is why I preface ever cool before Ian Hank. See, just throwing some Taoism at you. Ian, I'm going to throw the same question to you. Do you have any pre-E3 rituals?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely try to move my sleep schedule a little farther back, or like, so I wake up earlier, go to sleep earlier, eat enough, and just like steal your mind for like 18-hour days.
Stay hydrated.
Yeah, and drink a lot of water.
Because you have to deal with it on a level beyond, I think, what other allies have to deal with it. You have to shoot a live show on the show floor for E3 that goes into Easy Update. I assume just like that process alone is always super stressful because you never know exactly how it's going to go.
It's different, right? I mean, it's a different kind of stress because, yeah, I'm there. I don't take as many appointments as everyone else. I kind of just like wander around looking at stuff, making comments, and then I'm done. I go, well, and then I have to cut everything in a day.
You're usually there for like a day, right?
I usually go on the floor
Full
for
day?
like 1 or 2 full days, or a day and a half. And then I rush back and try to cut stuff. And I'm here for streams, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a different kind of thing, but I try to see everything. I try to see everything, but from a slightly farther distance than a hands-on demo usually.
Last year, we all got to play Bloodstained together at the same time.
Yeah, that was cool.
I thought it was really valuable having 3 different perspectives, and I wish we could do that with everything, but there's so much stuff that we absolutely cannot do that. And I feel bad for Bloodworth, who does all of the scheduling.
Yeah,
And-
Blood's a champ. during
Yeah,
E3.
yeah. Pro, by the way, it's scheduling all of our stuff for us.
It's crazy.
Right.
Guys,
There are
MVP.
spreadsheets upon spreadsheets.
He
Unsung
has to
hero.
deal with a lot of yes man as well, because Blood will be like, hey, do you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay, these things are like right next to each other. How
do I do
both
this?
of them
Yeah.
work? And he does an excellent job.
He like thinks about locations too. He's like, okay, you'll be on the other side of the hall.
Right.
You need built-in time to get from here to here.
And he's
Like, it's not
right.
possible.
You need a lunch break, so I'm
Yeah.
going to leave you a little gap here.
Right. Yeah, he's very
So thoughtful.
considerate.
He's
very
basically our
thoughtful.
like union rep.
Yes.
For
Right.
like the
Yeah.
9 of us that are in our own little Easy Allies union.
All right, how can we do it so Hubert doesn't die during E3?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People get pretty near passing out during E3.
Oh, dude. Like, day 2
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
hit like 1 a.m.
Yeah, and to
I'm just
drive
so
this
tired.
point home with an actual example, if you get curious and you have some extra time on your hands, go listen to the Easy Allies podcast that we shot during E3 last year. It is a bunch of grown men
At wit's end.
going at absolute wits end, going insane, laughing at nothing, and it's. I find it super entertaining.
We
I
did
don't
that
think it's
one
gonna be for
live,
everybody.
right?
We
Yes.
did,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we always do a Frame Trap and Easy Allies podcast live every
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
which is always fun. We're going to be bringing back the noodles and broth this year. I got one more question for the warm-up. I'm
Okay.
going to start with Ian this time.
Sure.
We're getting into summer. We're not there yet. We're going to get there soon. Do you have a summer song?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Uh,
Or rather, do you have a song of the summer usually?
well, yeah. I mean, usually there's a banger that comes out, and then it
Yeah.
is the song of the summer. At this point, I can't say what that song will be, but I do like a good, high energy during the summer. Something that's takes the heat off, but like also like commiserates with the heat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hoist That Rag by Tom Waits comes to mind right
Okay.
off the bat. I don't know why.
I've been meaning to tell you.
Or Make It Rain by Tom Waits. That's a good one.
Fiona Apple did this little cute YouTube video where she said she was making new music, and I think that's awesome.
Dude, when was that? Very excited.
Pretty recently, within like the last couple of months.
Because
or
it
so.
was like,
2012 was Idler Wheel.
and between
Ooh, it's
Idler
been a
Wheel and like the previous one was like 16 years, like 10 years or
Yeah,
something.
not the most prolific, but
Yeah.
Fiona Apple is a genius.
But
who-
one of the most skilled,
very, very
I would
good.
I would assert.
Yes,
she's incredible.
excellent. Yeah, you actually really got me into her, and I thank you for that because I listen to her all the time.
Oh, she's so
all
good.
the time.
I might listen to Idler Wheel
Idler Wheel
later.
is
That album, like
Idler Wheel is in like my top 3
from
of
like
all
start to
time for
finish, it's like
albums.
very, very good.
Yes, and
We need to mount.
What's
that
so great, I
power
love
thing.
the albums where like you pay really close attention to the lyrics, obviously, because they're so good. But over the years, as you listen to it, you keep picking up new things.
Yeah.
And I totally get that from Behind the Wheel, which I
Yeah.
love. Brad, you have a song of the summer.
No, but I'll tell you what I put on. I don't
Yeah,
put on a
full
song. I don't put on a song. I put on an album.
Yeah.
And it's the Beach Boys' greatest hits, baby.
Yeah! Brad, you like the Beach Boys?
Hell yeah, I like the Beach
love
Boys.
the Beach Boys.
Dude, I saw
man.
Brian Wilson like last year.
Really?
Yeah, it was sick.
Yo,
That's
if you
so
see Brian
funny.
Wilson again, let me know.
I don't think he's touring anymore.
Okay,
Dude. I think
all
it was.
right.
I legit
All
think it was his
right. Okay,
farewell
Brad.
tour. That's why I did it.
Thanks for joining
My
us.
parents were like, "You want to go see Brian Wilson?" I was like, "Absolutely."
Oh, man, Pet
yeah,
Sounds.
dude. Roll the windows down. Play some Beach Boys. Live the dream.
There's some Beach Boys songs that make me like real sad though.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some sad Beach
Like
Boys
God
songs.
only knows. Like I used to
Yeah.
listen to that, especially the barbershop quartet mix from Bioshock Infinite. Damn.
Dude, you roll down the windows, you put on I Get Around,
Yeah.
Wow.
dude.
you're golden.
You know
Yeah.
what movie
Brad.
that song makes me think of? Flight of the Navigator.
I've never even seen that.
It's pretty good.
I go in phases with bands a lot. There's some I revisit more than others, but I think you've made it absolutely
Yeah.
certain that Beach Boys will be a
But
huge part of my summer.
here's the rule. This rule I got from Michael Huber is you can only listen to Beach Boys when the sun's out.
Oh.
When the sun's out, Beach Boys
It's
are
weird.
out.
I've listened to the Beach Boys a lot at night, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind
some-
of in a very mild Talking Heads kick.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
like
listening
that.
to Cross-Eyed and Painless a
When
lot
the heat
recently.
goes on. Yeah.
Talking Heads are good.
Yeah, they're very good.
Sure.
I feel like I have an accidental song of the summer. Like I don't think I make a conscious choice, but there is one that I play more than the rest, and so it just sort of happens.
Yes.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, it's different every summer. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I didn't understand the confusion there.
Why don't you give us a tease of what you think it's going to be?
What was it last summer? Yeah.
Last summer I was listening to a lot of Beyonce.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. Formation was a song that I really liked a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Ben, you say like songs, like just things you listen to that I would not expect from a
Yeah.
guy who I just talked to who like loves Iron Maiden.
Yeah, I do. We were talking about Iron Maiden for the show.
You're like, oh yeah, Beyonce.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Rockin'
Cool.
Iron Maiden and Beyonce.
There was something I
Mashup.
high school was interesting for a lot of reasons, but the most important thing that I learned in high school, and I mean this to anyone still trying to figure it out, it's not like super revelatory information, but it's still good to be said once in a while. You will learn in your life that there will be people, whatever you say, like if you say you like Beyonce or you say you like Iron Maiden, they'll suddenly typecast you. And fuck those people. Like whatever you like, and it's okay to like a huge diversity of things.
Correct.
That's not a sin. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
Whatever.
If
Just live
anything,
your
it's
life.
more intriguing to me when
Yeah.
someone bounces around like that.
It is. It is.
That's like the number one advice to like high school age, middle school age people is like, be yourself.
Be yourself.
Like, it might suck right now.
Be
The rest of the world
yourself.
will catch up. Like
Embrace it.
you'll be awesome in college or
Yeah.
whatever.
And like, I don't know, I sometimes I get really frustrated with genres of music and fans of genres of music because it's so exclusionary where it's like, hey, I'm really into,
Yeah.
you know, rock. Well, then why do you like this pop singer? And it's like, well, because they're both good. They're both practicing different
Yeah.
sorts of songs.
And I wouldn't judge like an entire group of people on one genre.
Absolutely.
Like some of like the most friendly people I've ever met have been at like death metal shows.
Yes,
yeah.
that's actually one of the things that drew me into metal originally is the people that I was interacting with and the people that I met at show. There were a couple of creepos, but by and large, everybody was so friendly. Like they'd want to talk. They were very passionate
Yeah.
about music, and just they had good manners, and it was really nice.
Like when
and
I saw Nile like years ago.
Yeah.
Super good vibes, everybody. Everyone was just stoked to be there.
yeah.
I found the same is true of horror movie fans.
Sure, yeah.
Or, like
Sure.
people who make horror movies.
I'm
they're
not
all,
as
like,
into
really
that scene.
chill.
Me either. But
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. You know, I didn't know you were a huge horror fan.
Here's the deal. I love like slow burn psychological horror and hate jump scares.
gotcha. I'm
So-
more with you on that side of horror. I prefer that kind of horror.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
despise like I won't go to a movie with jump scares because I just don't. It like makes me irritated. I don't even.
We like the
have
mental
fun.
damage.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
yeah,
why
I
you
want
like
to be like afraid of walking alone, not irritated in the stomach because something jumped out at me.
Speaking of song titles, I like that for a song. I want to be afraid of walking alone.
Yeah.
But
Way
that's
ahead of you.
That's what. Ooh.
No, I mean I'm
Spoilers.
just afraid of walking alone. Not a song.
We're gonna move on to the games, and
Yeah, let's do that.
there's some games here that I get really excited about. It's always It's necessary a lot of the times, and it's going to happen here. But it's always nice when we have a game that where all three of us can talk about it and feel enthusiastic or critical or whatever it is. And there's a game that I'm just happy exists because we're all big fans of the thing that is spiritually successing, and that is Castlevania. And we're here today to talk about Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon. Brad, what is Curse of the Moon?
Curse of the Moon is the prequel to Bloodstained. I forgot what
Ritual of the
Night.
Night.
Yes. Why is it? I wish it was just Bloodstained for the first one. Anyways, it's a prequel to the game in the style of the old NES Castlevanias. So we're talking the 1, the 2, the 3. This is a stage structured linear Castlevania game, not the Metroidvania that many are the later Castlevanias. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a nice, I hate using this term, but a nice little love letter to the old Castlevanias.
Oh, absolutely. When I was playing the first stage, I was like, "This is cribbing so hard from the first stage of Castlevania."
Like straight up.
Yeah.
Like little
little guys coming out of the ground. I'm like, oh, this is just okay.
Right. But there are similarities. So, like Castlevania 3, for instance,
many similarities.
There's alternate paths that you can go down.
Yes.
But there's also 4 characters that you can play. Not only can you play as them, you can switch between them at any time
on the fly
once you've unlocked them.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
You could play as 4 different characters. Zangetsu, who is the character you start as, he uses a sword. Your standard guy. What's the girl's name again? Miriam. Yeah, she's the character in the new Blood, or the Bloodstained coming out.
Right.
Then there's, she's the whip, all that good stuff. Alfred is like the wizard from 3. I always forget her name. We talked about that earlier, but we always forget her.
Yeah, you very quickly brushed over the whip there, but I want to go back to that. When I first got Miriam and I saw the whip and I saw the way that it looked,
it's exactly
I was like
the old one.
They've got me by the balls.
Oh. I'm in, baby. Oh yeah, I got the sub weapons too and all that good stuff. And then there's Alfred, who's the wizard. Got some sweet magic. Hits people with a little staff, which I think is funny. His little animation. Yep. Then you got Gable, who is just Alucard from. It's just Alucard.
Yeah.
He's got the bats. All that good stuff turns into a bat.
Brad, you were agreeing with a lot of people that were coming at me, and they were like, "Hey, I think Miriam's the best character." And Miriam is excellent. The range in her whip, the different sub-weapons that she has, she's an excellent character. I really liked Gebel, and Gebel was the most useful to me.
I think Gebel is really good near the end of the game, when there's a lot more like death pits you can just kind of fly over. I like him. I think he's the second best I would probably use. So in a boss fight, I'd use Miriam, then gotta switch over to Gebel, for certain, because there's a lot of airborne enemies, so it's good to have him in there too. So his bats do a kind of vertical swing, I would say, so it's good to hitting guys higher up. But I used him the second most probably, and because Alfred has a little health, he doesn't have a lot of health.
No, not at least until you get some upgrades. And beef him up a little bit.
But it's I used him probably the second most because the bat is really good.
Yes,
it's really good.
The bat is good, and if you want a hot tip from Frame Trap, where you get all the hot tips, you can get there's a sub-weapon. They all have different sub-weapons.
Yes.
I think that's important to say. There's a sub-weapon that Alfred has. It's his default sub-weapon where he has a shield of fire around him.
Yeah.
And you can combine that with other characters, and you can actually combine it with the bat form of Gebel.
So you activate it with the alchemist and then
you
switch
over,
and then you use the bat, because that's the only sub-weapon that Gebel can use, and then you become the bat, and then there are bosses where you need to hit them high up, and you're just like, well, I'm a bat with fire around me, fuck you, and then you run around and you just keep hitting
a sick build I did with that was Zangetsu has the fire that he does, increases damage. So I did that, and I had Miriam with that big axe, so I had the fire on her and the huge charge axe, so you just boss killer.
That axe is dope. You talked about the sub-weapons, and I want to go back to that really quick. I think they do a great job of having a lot of intensely familiar sub-weapons. You have a holy water equivalent.
Right.
You have just the dagger.
The knife.
But they also have some cool creative ones, and I think there's just enough of oh, hey, can I do that? And trying it out. That's really, really fun. And it's not super complex or anything,
right.
but with Miriam, she has the highest jump out of anybody. And you can use that jump and then switch to another character so you can get their attack at that height.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Which can be really useful in that
combo
situation.
stuff.
Can you then jump again as that character? Or is the jump used?
The jump is used.
The jump is used. Yeah. So Ian, I want to get your thoughts on it. You haven't finished it yet, but you're playing it.
I just unlocked the alchemist, so I beat the second boss. I'm in the third world, I guess.
Oh, okay. So you beat the water boss.
Yeah, so you're on stage 4, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get
I beat the
Oh yes,
I did the
Stage 3.
It'd be stage
train.
3. Thank you, Brad.
The desert one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
is
like-
it kind of like ruinsy?
Sand, yeah.
I think I just got to that. I finished like the ice cave. I beat the train boss. I beat the ice golem or spinny turtle ice thing.
So you're on the 3rd level.
Yeah.
So Ian, my understanding of you and your love for Castlevania, it's not that you don't appreciate like the NES style of Castlevania, but you really came into it in something like Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, my introduction was Symphony of the Night.
Right.
Because
Okay.
I never had an SNES or an NES.
Gotcha.
Sure.
I had a Genesis when I was a kid. So like, yeah, Symphony of the Night was my first Castlevania.
Bloodlines, dude, no excuse. He skipped it.
Skipped it, I
I'm
guess.
just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's all right.
Well,
It's
at the time, it was like really hard to get. I remember.
Bloodlines?
I thought. Because it was like, or Dracula X Chronicles.
Oh, that's
or,
Super
it
Nintendo.
was all very
That's
confusing.
Super Nintendo.
There was another one on PlayStation that I like didn't know about as a kid that I found out
Oh,
later.
PlayStation? Probably Chronicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chronicles.
Yeah.
Chronicles, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how is Curse of the Moon treating you as somebody who maybe doesn't have the nostalgia for NES Castlevania?
I mean, I really like it. It seems like you guys were talking about it like it wasn't that hard, but to me it was like pretty challenging.
And what specifically made it challenging for you?
I just get hit a lot. Like I don't play defensively enough. Maybe I just like I let myself get hit a lot and then I die.
Does the jump really throw you off? Where you're very committed to the jump and you can't change mid-direction, and there's kind of a heaviness to it.
That could be part of it. I mean, fighting the train boss, I definitely had to get used to the jump range. And,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Especially when he's pulling the coal toward you, I had to like pull up short intentionally because I knew that I was gonna like overshoot it. You know.
Sure.
So that's definitely part of it. But and I definitely like Miriam. She seems to move a little faster than Zangetsu or whatever his name is. So I played as her as much as I could. But yeah, I really like it. I think it's cool. I think it's amazing that they just like threw this game out. Obviously, they didn't just throw it out, but like I didn't even know they were doing this until they until it was like
a
coming out
surprise to
next
me,
week.
too.
I was like, what?
Right.
Yeah,
Because I wasn't keeping close tabs on the Kickstarter.
I looked at the Kickstarter for like yesterday to see what it was, and it was like prequel mini game. That's what it said,
Sure.
or something like that. And that turned into this. It's like, whoa,
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive.
made
Yeah.
by like a different guy or whatever, right?
This is Inti Creates still
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this.
yeah. It's supervised, I believe, by Igarashi.
Yeah. I love it. The fact that it exists is just super cool.
Yeah, you mentioned how much you enjoyed playing Miriam, and I think that is a good jumping off point for talking about another mechanic that it has that I think is really interesting. So, like a classic game, you have lives, but in this game you acquire characters, and once you have 4 characters, and even if you just have 2, if you lose a character, if a character dies, you don't lose a life.
Right.
You just sort of come back to life at the latest checkpoint, and you can continue as the characters that you have left.
Right.
And so as somebody who likes to play Miriam a lot, when you would lose Miriam, did that kind of
It was punishing.
suck out the joy of the experience from you?
I wouldn't say it sucked out the joy, but like it's definitely like like it felt like a death, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
The thing really that gets me is not being able to play as her, but not being able to use her abilities to get to secrets. So like the main guy he can like bust open a little wall, but then there's like a passage that's really short, and she's the one who can dash under it. And like if you see that, but Miriam's passed out or whatever, you're just like, oh damn it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's what stings the most.
Sure.
If one of the characters is dead, is like, oh, I can't get up there.
And there's plenty of places, especially later on, where you can only get to as the bat.
Yeah. Even in the first level, it looked like there were like
There
high
is
up
stuff,
areas. Yeah.
But that's the thing about Curse of the Moon that I think that I really liked and impressed me the most, and made it more than just like, oh hey, I like Castlevania, haha.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great game in its own right, because of how you have to manage your different characters when you're fighting a boss and being like, okay, I'm taking a lot of damage, let me switch to somebody else. I think that's really cool, and also even just being aware of the things that you're getting, right? Because if you think about Castlevania, it's like, well, I'm just gonna hit all the lanterns and get all the items. Here, it's like, wait, if I run into health, like I want this character to be active, or when I hit the sub-weapon lantern, I want to get a different sub-weapon for this character. And just that little extra layer, I think, added a tremendous amount for me.
And there's a quality to this game that I did not expect when it was announced and released so quickly.
Sure.
Not that I think they were gonna like throw something slapdash out there, but like this feels like a legit game. You know, I really like it, and also the music I love.
Yeah,
I really like the
is
music
great.
a lot.
And I think it just keeps getting better and better.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to keep going on it. I got sidetracked by PixelJunk Monsters.
Understandable.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and what's great, you just mentioned finishing it and keeping going, and I think if they just had the basic game that they have in there, when you just start up and you pick a difficulty and you go all the way to the end, that would have been enough for $10. But I love that there is another mode, Nightmare Mode. There's actually a couple of different modes that change things up a little bit, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, I'm going to play this 2 times, maybe 3 times, and I love that. I love that, especially for the price point.
I'm on my 3rd playthrough now.
Nice.
Can you talk about what the modes do, or is it a spoiler?
Yeah, so Nightmare Mode is basically during boss fights, they'll have a few different... They'll change attacks up a little bit based on my experience, and what Brad was telling me is the final boss is completely different.
Completely different.
There's
like an additional scenario at the end of it, too,
Are
before
there-
the final boss.
If you're playing in casual or veteran, that's what they call
Yeah.
it, right? Are there more or less secrets? Does it
I
like
don't
take
think
things
so.
away?
I don't think
My
so.
understanding with casual, and I haven't played casual yet, but what I heard somebody else say in casual is that they're more generous with drops.
Okay.
And so you're getting more health.
Yeah.
Um,
But I don't think they take anything away.
Oh, okay.
right,
Okay.
right. Brad,
Yes.
word around the office is that you're pretty good at video games. That's what I've heard.
I don't know
I've heard
why.
that. I've heard that.
There's been some talk amongst people who are really hungry for new Castlevania that maybe Bloodstained is a little bit too easy.
Sure.
Do you agree with that?
It is pretty easy. I guess, like, from this, I was just so happy that it's such a good game. The difficulty, like, spike didn't really annoy me as much. There are ways you could definitely make this game harder for yourself.
Right.
By, like, not recruiting anyone and just having Zangetsu the whole game. But yeah, I could see how people are, like, if they want, like, a real, like, if they want Castlevania 1 or 3, that are, like 3 especially, is, like, really hard.
Right.
This is not going to be that hard.
Right. So it wasn't a huge detracting thing for you.
No, it wasn't for me.
Yeah, and comparing it to NES Castlevania, I think you throw like the Grim Reaper from Castlevania 1 at people, or some of Castlevania 3 at people, and that might really turn them off, understandably so. But I think I totally get where people think some of Bloodstained is a little bit too easy, especially once you figured out some of the tricks.
Yes.
But that being said, I still died. I still was like, oh, okay, that was how that worked. I was still learning as I was going on, and I think because I still had a little bit of that, I was okay with the difficulty overall
absolutely.
for me personally. But yeah, follow-up question. So because you like Curse of the Moon, and because it was more well-made than you were expecting, Ian Hink, does this make you want more 8-bit Castlevania, or potentially more like a 16-bit Castlevania? I say Castlevania, and what I mean is like in the Castlevania style.
Oh, yeah. I was like, I'll take any Castlevania.
Yeah.
Except for maybe a phone Castlevania. Well, who knows? Yeah. I mean, I'm always down for well-made Metroidvania games. Sure. I'm really looking forward to Hollow Knight coming out on the Switch, because I started it on the PC, then just got sidetracked with other stuff, got busy, and hadn't finished it. And when I heard about the Switch release, I was like, oh, it's perfect for that. So yeah, I'm waiting for that on the Switch. Really excited about that. Yeah, I mean, it's one of my favorite subgenres, so I'm always in.
Good. Brad, do you want more of this, or is
so-
it dependent on Ritual of the Night?
So, well, from what I've played of Ritual Night, I was pleased with. I've always been in the camp of I prefer the older style Castlevanias going through the stages themselves.
Yeah.
Opposed to the Metroidvanias. Don't get me wrong, I love the Metroidvania ones. I love them. But just getting a game kind of in the spirit of games I haven't gotten since like PS1 with Chronicles. Like, it's been a long time since I've had a game like this, and I'm super happy that one has finally come out and that it's as good as it is.
Absolutely. I think I actually kind of agree with you, because there have been a lot of games that, especially indie games, that have been inspired by the Metroidvania style.
Yeah,
and I love them. And like Ian said, I think it's a subgenre that I hold in very high regard. But there haven't been as many. There definitely have been some.
Yeah,
I'm not discounting the ones that exist, but there haven't been as many as the like, hey, let's just have this going through levels, ending with a boss. You got a weapon, sub-weapons,
and it's like
kind of thing.
the theming I love Castlevania, fighting monsters, vampires, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
back.
You guys were saying this. It just hadn't registered with me at the time. How you're just like, I am a sucker for the gothic horror style.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, and really, like I said, with this style, it got me by the balls, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
It got
like,
me.
I mean, it's funny because, like, I think I sort of misunderstood your question because to me, saying the Castlevania style means Metroidvania.
Sure.
It doesn't mean level-based.
Right.
And, like, yeah, it's refreshing to have a level-based game like this because it does kind of take the pressure off in a certain way that you don't have to backtrack and find all these things. I love doing that, but yeah, it's kind of there's been a deluge of that sort of thing. That said, you know, if a game I'm expecting to be Metroidvania went levels, like if Souls went back to more like a Demon Souls style, like a hub with levels, I'd be a little bummed.
I don't know.
I'd be a little bummed. I don't know.
It just depends on the quality of the level themselves for me.
Yeah, I agree.
I trust From, obviously. But
Because the thing, when you break it down like that, the thing for me, what makes the interconnected world so good is when you have those moments where it's like, oh, this is how this connects back to this thing.
Firelink this whole time.
And even in Demon Souls, they did a lot of that. I mean, there were a lot
there's
of
like
moments
shortcuts
within
in the
those
levels,
where you had that. But you also made me think of something, Ian. And I think that's why the lack of Castlevania and the way Konami has been handling it is so frustrating, is because it's not just like Castlevania is one thing.
You're right.
It can go in all of these different directions and have all these different ideas, and it has done that in the past. And to just completely remove that and shut down all of those paths that it was on, and all those different ways that it can go, I think is quite frustrating.
Well, there's the phone one, which maybe could be good.
I forgot that existed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me too, until like just a second ago.
Yeah.
What if it's good? I don't know.
Do you think we'll get to a point? Do you think we'll ever get to a point where a classic franchise will be coming out with a new entry on phone and will be like, that's going to be amazing, and there's no hesitation at all?
Maybe Nintendo sometime, like, because Pocket Camp was alright.
Yeah, I was gonna say, weren't we excited for Pocket Camp?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as old as Castlevania, obviously, but it's been around for a while.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, it worked.
I mean, you could do like some kind of combo Pokemon Go, more standard Pokemon thing that could be cool, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's all just about how you do it and how like shitty it is with microtransactions.
I think
how
that
lousy
question
with greed it is.
was kind of couched in the, like, there's this new phone Castlevania coming out,
Right.
but there's not any other Castlevania coming out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And-
barring other like we all
Right.
still assume that real Pokemon and real Animal Crossing is going to come out because I mean that's how it feels.
Right.
A phone game doesn't feel like a real entry.
Let's see what it feels like. It feels like a one blip on a monitor coming up, like boop.
Yeah,
Just like one. Like
The phone gives
it's
to the
not,
one blip?
It's not completely dead yet.
Yeah.
I thought it's been dead for a while, but boop, just one.
Oh, for Castlevania.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what it feels like to me.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty
Like
accurate
there's still
assessment.
kind of hope, but pretty bad still.
like a drop of blood fell on Dracula's lips.
yeah, he's like,
And he got like a slight amount of life back.
yeah.
We're going to be moving on to something else that we all care about quite a lot,
Okay.
that we've been accused of talking too much of, which is fair, I think, in a lot of instances. But we have ample reason to talk about now, and that is Dark Souls Remastered is out.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brad,
Yes.
you are kind of responsible for the coverage of Dark Souls Remastered. And I'm going to question, and
Sure.
I get this question a lot when things like this come out. They said, hey, I've played Dark Souls. Is this worth the cost of playing it on, any given platform?
Depends on what platform you're playing on.
Okay.
If you play on console, I would say yes. It feels very good in 60 frames. It's checkerboard 4K. It's not native. I haven't had time to mess with the PC version yet, so I can't say definitively if it's worth it or not. I'm hearing word around the campfire that it might not be worth it, but I have to check it out for myself.
I heard it's lousy with hackers.
I mean, that's just Dark Souls. Dark Souls original was like bad too. Just
Yeah.
PC, dude. Wild West out there. But yeah, I think I'm having a really good time playing. I just beat it a year ago for the retro, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it rejuvenates it a little bit to me. Because like 60 frames makes a big difference in a game like that, how it feels and everything like that. It looks better. I've noticed the lighting's different in a lot of areas. It's like very much darker, I've noticed. Like in the dark, it's harder to see than the previous versions. Bonfire looks a little different, like the fire effects. The souls themselves look a little different, and the fog gates do look a little different. But if you're expecting like any major changes from the original one, you're not going to really get it. There's a few small changes, like being able to change your covenant at the bonfire now.
Oh.
But there's I'm not aware of like PvP balancing yet either. I haven't really toyed around with a lot of that. But so far as I see it right now, it's just it runs better and it looks a little better.
Okay.
So
Go ahead.
I wanted to say, like, someone in chat earlier today during Weekly Hunts asked if they like updated the battle system, like the combat or the gameplay to be more like 3, and it's like no, they didn't. It's just better frame rate.
It's 1 with better frame rate and it looks maybe a little better.
I wonder how the 60 frames affects the timing of the attacks and stuff.
I think they fixed a lot of that. A lot of that was from the PC version, which was capped, I think, originally at 30 until they did the fix, the DS fix, that like allowed you to do that kind of stuff, and some things didn't work as well.
Because I know like speedrunners and stuff will play a certain version of a game, like the PAL version, because it's 25 or whatever, and like that stuff gets so crazy.
I always love when speedrunners play a game in Japanese because you can get through the text boxes faster.
Depends on the game too.
I love stuff like that.
Yeah,
more efficient written language.
So was it last night? Yeah, it was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. I started streaming Dark Souls, and I was just going to do it for like an hour, and I kept going right until Huber had to stream because I got that sucked in. And then even after the stream, I kept playing, and I got past Quelaag, and so I did Blighttown, and Blighttown in 60 frames, man.
Yeah, it's very nice.
The dream.
It still sucks. Those toxic bastards.
Oh yeah, I mean, I hate Blighttown, but at least it runs properly.
Right. At least you're not fighting the.
I always kind of liked Blighttown.
No, Blighttown is cool. When I say it sucks, I mean that.
It sucks.
I mean that kind of affectionately. And the way some of those monsters look in Blighttown, I think, are still a little creepy.
Yeah.
Which is nice to be able to say about a 7-year-old game.
The thing I'm looking forward to is 1, 2, and 3, and maybe even parts of Demon Souls have like jumbled up in my mind, like where I'm like, which game had that area where you're on the like parapets of the castle and that guy comes out of the little room and like jumps over at you, and like I don't remember which game certain parts were from. Yeah. So I'm kind of looking forward to going back into 1 and being like, oh, right, that's this.
Yeah. Dark Souls 1 was a game that when it came out, I mean, it completely consumed me, and I just kept playing it. I had friends who were playing it, and I felt like I got to dig into that game on a really fairly deep level in a way that I normally don't get to with a lot of games. But enough time had passed that I went into the stream being like, oh yeah, I remember all of this stuff. And then there were plenty of things that I had forgotten or things that I thought would be trivial encounters that ended up being a huge
tougher
deal.
than you think, yeah.
And that was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it feel fresh again. But what really impressed me about Dark Souls 1, and I don't think 2 and 3 for whatever reason hit me in the same way like this, is just when you get to Firelink Shrine and kind of the wonder that you have because you have so many different paths that you can go right at that moment, and all of those paths feel very different from one another. Yeah. And they all kind of create these still like incredible what moments where you're trying to figure out how to deal with the ghosts, or you're like, oh my god, these skeletons, their bones are coming off the ground and now they're coming and attacking me. And even just the undead parish, how much there is to that like single area is really impressive to me. And so I just think the construction of the world is so cool. Ian Hink, you are a Bloodborne fanatic, I would say. How do you feel about Dark Souls 1 in a post-Bloodborne, post-Dark Souls 3, Dark Souls 2 world?
I mean, obviously it's slower, like combat-wise.
Too slow for you?
I don't know yet. I'm waiting for the Switch version just because I think the novelty of playing Dark Souls on the Switch is so crazy that, but I'm a little bummed that it's 30 instead of 60. So I'm thinking about trying the PS4 one. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. But like, I don't want to do the PS4 one, burn out on it, not get it on the Switch, whatever. So I'd probably wait for the Switch. All that said, I mean, Dark Souls is an amazing game. So, you can't really fault it for being older. They've definitely like updated the style of combat, I think, to not even to keep up with the times, just to like make different styles of gameplay a little more viable. Like Dark Souls 1 is very sword and board compared to Bloodborne, obviously, and even compared to 3. Like I played 2 and 3 dual wield, and I don't think I ever used a shield at all. Whereas in 1, you pretty much have to use a shield. A lot of the time.
You think you're a little bit more forced to use a shield?
I wouldn't say forced, but it's definitely like maybe the most viable option. You know, certainly you can't dual wield, but like certainly not using a shield is harder.
The thing for me with Dark Souls, though, specifically when it comes to the bosses, there are definitely a lot of very confined quarters in Dark Souls where you have less. The sewers, for example, come to mind, or many parts of the Undead Parish come to mind. But I think with a lot of the bosses, like you think about the Gaping Dragon, for example, you're just in this absolutely huge arena that like a shield doesn't really do you much good. You're much better rolling away from things. Brad, do you think you're kind of limited in how you can play in Dark Souls 1?
Dark Souls 1, kind of like a little less, like dual wielding wasn't really a thing in 1, like Ian said.
Yeah.
2,
Yeah,
they
that's
kind of
true.
made it more a thing with power stance, and 3, that kind of carried over a little bit. 3, I feel like they give you more variety just because there is more. 2, same kind of thing. But I think like the most OP thing in Dark Souls 1 is just magic, dude. It's just sorcery.
Yeah.
You can destroy everything in that game easily. Like if you're having trouble with that game, dude, make a mage. You're gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, so in the why can I not? Why am I blanking on the name? What is the name of the class that is the Deprived?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it was. I'm in a Deprived and was having a lot of fun just going around beating people with the club.
Yeah, club's fun.
And then after the stream,
Did you get the Great Club from
no,
Blighttown?
I didn't.
Man,
I didn't.
So fun.
But I got this Zweihander.
Oh,
and I was like, well,
Zweihander.
you know, I need 24 strength for this. I'm just gonna mess around in Undead Parish until I've got 24 strength to wield this thing. And I did, and I was having a good time. And then I got it, and I was like, oh, I've kind of made this game trivial now. Where I just had that moment where I think I went a little bit too far.
I got a Black Knight sword drop, and I one-shot the Taurus demon.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, because I bumped up my strength and got this Zweihander before I fought the gargoyles, not realizing how much it would just dunk on that fight, and just doing like a fourth of their health with every swing was
I
pretty
used the
intense.
Black Knight axe for most of that game, I think.
Yeah.
Which is weird for me because normally I don't do
All those Black
axes.
Knight weapons are great if you can
Yeah.
get them early on.
They're out of control.
I feel like for me personally, not necessarily as Ben Moore, the guy on the podcast or the video game critic, but Dark Souls Remastered kind of falls into a weird spot for me where I'm not really thinking about value or how much they've added, just because the game means so much to me.
Yeah.
Which is obviously an unfair and completely biased thing to say, but it was a game that meant a lot to me, and so like spending money on it and putting more time into it isn't as much of a cost, I think, as it would be for some other things.
For sure.
But Bradley Ellis is the person who wrote the Souls retrospective and played all of them like back to back to back to back.
Yeah.
Where does Dark Souls 1 rank for you? And how was it revisiting it in comparison to the others?
I'll give you my order.
Okay.
Number 1 is Bloodborne. Number 2 is Dark Souls 3. Number 3 is Dark Souls. Number 4 is Demon Souls. Number 5 is Dark Souls 2.
Interesting. I would probably switch around Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1.
Sure, yeah, I get that.
But Bloodborne, yeah, it was weird because I wasn't sure about this before, but playing Dark Souls Remastered has cemented Bloodborne as the best one for me.
Yeah, Bloodborne's just like our favorite
Mine would
one.
be the same as yours. I think I'd flip 1 and 3.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ian, I'm excited for the Switch version to come out.
Yeah.
And to see you playing that at Brandon's garage.
Oh yeah. Just all the time.
Oh, we'll be co-oping, dude. I'll be chucking lightning bolts right next to you.
Like we'll all just be sitting there, and all of a sudden someone will just go, "Ah!"
Yeah.
God damn it.
Being on a plane and then suddenly just going, "Fuck!"
Yep.
and then be like, "Oh."
Oh, sorry.
It's weird, man. You think to yourself, and this just might be me. This might just be a me thing, where I was like, man, I don't think I've ever died to the Taurus demon, and then dying 3 times to the Taurus demon. It's like,
That's
damn,
the
it
thing with
still
those
got
games,
me.
man. Sometimes they can just go south real fast.
Right.
Out of nowhere.
But the Cabra demon, who during my first playthrough was a
God.
mountain for me,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
first try here, and so it's kind of cool having those variable experiences.
My
How
favorite,
much overconfidence can play a part of it.
right. My favorite thing with Dark Souls, maybe even especially Dark Souls 1, is like how much the fear plays into how good you are. Like if you are willing to just kind of go for it, a lot of the time it just works out so much better for you. The one thing I forgot about entirely was encumbrance and like equipment weight, and like basically having to use Havel's ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, like that part I'm not as excited about, but because I like to keep as light as possible, you know.
The Ring of Favor and Protection.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, just as a tip, if you don't know what that is and you're playing for the first time, how to get it. But I also kind of don't want to ruin it for people. But that makes that game way easier, man.
Oh, yeah. One of the best rings in the game.
Yeah, I'll just say Lautrec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, you can't unequip it.
If you do, it breaks.
It breaks, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Does
it break if you die?
What's that?
No.
No. Just if you
I think I never used
slot.
it for that reason because I was like afraid.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's very good.
Ian, I think you're kind of filling the Kyle Bossman role today. And what I mean by that is every single time Kyle Bossman is on Frame Trap, he brings in a game that either A, I've never heard of, or is completely out of left field. And you have the honor of doing that today.
Sweet.
You're bringing something, let me make sure I get this right. You're bringing in a game called The Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker.
Yeah.
What is it?
Okay, so I've been looking into FMV games recently for reasons that are my own. But this one is coming to the Switch is how it was on my radar. I was looking at the coming soon in the shop on the Switch.
The Switch?
And this was on there and I was like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. It's a Lovecraftian like psychological pseudo horror FMV game where you're playing as a psychologist who's replacing someone named Dr. Dekker. And Dr. Dekker was murdered.
Ooh.
And at the beginning of the playthrough, the game randomly decides which one of your patients is the killer, and then you basically just have to like interview them to get information to figure out who the killer is. You know, I haven't beaten it yet. I'm in like almost in Act 3, I think. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long it is. It has the honor of being the game with the most video in it ever made. It has by a wide margin. It has like 7 or 8 hours worth of video. As opposed to like
your solid 4.
Her story had like 2 or something of full motion video.
Sure.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. It's a little weird. It has a text parser, so you have to type into the. I'm playing on PC. You have to type into the game. Well, the Switch version has like pre-made responses you can select, which might actually be a better way to play it because sometimes trying to find what the game wants you to type is a little irritating.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You hear a lot of like, sorry, I don't know. Like you get a lot of those clips. But the acting is like pretty good. The writing is good. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm into it so far. I really wish I knew what engine they used, if it was Unity or what, because that's important for me. But like, yeah, it's cool. It's fun. I mean, it's an FMV game, you know.
With FMV puzzle games or with classic adventure games, the situations that I dread the most, and they don't happen all that often, but every once in a while I'll get to an obstacle, and I feel like I will arrive at a conclusion that makes perfect sense, and the game's just like, nah.
Yeah,
nah.
That's not the dream logic we're hoping you use right now.
Right, right. And you mentioned that it was like sometimes annoying typing in exactly what they wanted.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's happening pretty often, or most of the time you're getting through the puzzle smoothly?
It was well. The thing is, like this game, it's the camera never moves. It's not like Myst where you're clicking around and then an FMV happens. It's just FMVs.
Yeah.
And then you type questions that you want. You're basically a psychiatrist asking your patients things, and then they play a video back. I was attempting to do it without hints for a while, and it was a kind of a problem because like I would bash my head against the wall a lot. Where I'm like, "What do you want me to say? I'm typing this thing, and you're saying, didn't we already talk about that?" Like, I'm like, "Well, not in this way, okay, but whatever." You basically have to use keywords. You don't even have to type out full sentences. You can just say like, beach, you know, and it'll whatever. But when you type in hint, it'll say like, I should ask her about dancing or whatever the characters, you know, and like it phrases it in the way that like, okay, this is how you say it, and it'll trigger the next thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of just got over myself and started using the hints because it's like sort of necessary.
Yeah, hint systems in these types of games are always really interesting to me because I've seen some really great systems for hints and some really bad ones.
Yeah.
Does this just offer like one super obvious hint? Or are there like different levels
of hints?
It's a cooldown.
It's you get one hint and then you have a cooldown of like a minute or 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay. How many levels to the hint are there?
It doesn't exactly work like that. So it's like the one hint will get you like the next thing you haven't talked about yet. It's sort of like
see.
Her Story, where you're just kind of like digging through the pile of trying to see all the clips. And then once you've seen the clips, the game's like, you've seen enough clips for this person to move to the next act. And once you get all the people like that, you can move to the next act. It like unlocks the next act.
So just so I'm understanding this correctly, if you go far enough with it, you just kind of solve the thing automatically?
If you're using hints, then yeah.
Okay.
But there are some creative things you can get, and there are side stories too that you can unfurl. Every patient starts as red, and to move on to the next act, you have to get them to orange. And if you get them all to green, it means you've seen literally everything available to you. But the game is like, that's really hard, so probably don't try. But yeah, it's a weird FMV game where you type at these patients and they talk to you.
Not to keep bringing up Weekly Hunts, but during Weekly Hunts, we were talking about Myst.
Yeah.
And I know for you specifically, PC adventure games were very foundational in your like gaming upbringing.
Yeah.
And they were for me as well with my dad. But I haven't played as many as you have. Do you think that your experience with like growing up with them has kind of attuned you for how these games function? And make it a lot easier for you than it would be for other people?
Yeah, and I don't want to say like it's a full nostalgia play with these FMV games, but it's definitely part of it. Like, it brings you back to like, oh yeah, I remember like Wing Commander or like Myst or whatever.
Right.
Playing these FMV games, and those were like less like straight ahead FMV games. They had some walking around and stuff. This one is literally just like typing through a movie. But yeah, I definitely think that I have a special place in my heart for FMV, for sure. And that like kind of gives a lot of things a pass that I wouldn't give in other games probably. Yeah. It's a weird one.
Brad, what is your experience with adventure games?
Pretty much zero.
Zero.
I didn't have a PC that I could play games on until I was in high school, kind of thing like that. And by that time, it was a World of Warcraft machine at that point.
Yeah.
So I missed like all Monkey Island, all of the whatever.
Space Quest.
All those kind of games. Yeah, I missed them all. I would like to play like Monkey Island or sometime, but I'd missed them all.
But we live in an
Wait,
era.
I'm sorry. I've played one. Stick It to the Man.
Oh, sure.
I played it on,
Yeah.
what was it, PS4, I think?
That game seems really cool.
Dude, I like that game. It was fun.
Nice. But as far as like the classics go,
Yeah.
we live in an era of the re-release where a lot of like LucasArts stuff is getting re-released.
Yeah.
Does that stuff interest you, or are you like kind of nervous to go back to
No,
them?
I'm not nervous to go back to them. I would like to try them just to see.
Yeah. I think that you would find like Grim Fandango, for example, has some like insane, and Monkey Island too, some just like insane interactions that you have to do.
If I go back to it and I get stuck for like 10 minutes, I'll have no problem just looking it up.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying is like just look it up.
Yeah, I have no problem with doing
just
that now.
Because like it does not make sense.
Yeah,
like,
just like,
there are some solutions that are just insane.
Yeah, for sure.
Like in Grim Fandango, there's a part where you have to like put a thing in the ground at like this exact right pixel, and there's just basically like no way to do it other than trial and error, and it's just like, oh my god.
Ian, with this game specifically, I keep forgetting the name of it. The Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker. It's like the Idler Wheel title.
Yeah.
You mentioned being initially drawn to it because of the vibe. Do you think?
I love Lovecraftian, gothic horror stuff.
So kind of as you're going through it, do you think that the story is well presented enough and interesting enough to kind of hook you further beyond kind of that initial attraction?
Yeah, actually, there were a couple of times where I was kind of like, all right, I've seen enough, like I've gotten the idea, and then like a character will be like, yeah, so I have an extra hour every day, everything freezes and I can do whatever I want, and you're like, are you crazy or does this actually happen? And then they like say things that are like you wouldn't be able to do that if you couldn't actually do that. So like it does what like the cosmic horror thing where it like skirts the line of like you're never really sure if these people are nuts or if it's real, and like the Infectious Madness of Dr. Dekker, like they're all patients of the previous psychiatrist who was murdered.
Right.
You're trying to figure out who that was, but you start to get the impression that like Dr. Dekker was crazy and like infected his patients to make them do things or believe things, and like the extent to which that's real or not real is what I'm trying to like ascertain, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, they give you little hooks to keep you going, and like characters will contradict themselves in interesting ways where it's like they'll say like a thing like, "Oh, I went there because they've got good vodka," but then like 2 seconds later they're like, "I don't drink," so and you're like, "Well, wait a minute." So yeah, they do a good job with that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I say this is one of my favorite things in games a lot, but you just made me realize how much I enjoy like unreliable narrators in games. And I
This is
think
a game with like 6 of them.
Yeah, I think of like the feeling I got in Silent Hill Shattered Memories when you were in the therapist's office and just how uncomfortable that was. And Until Dawn actually has some of that as well, and I thought it was very, very
Her Story
very cool.
too, which I think was made by
I
the
haven't
same
played
guy
Her
who
Story.
made. I think the guy who made Shattered Memories made Her Story, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, la-dee-da.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a game that I am super excited to talk about, and like I want to kind of make a fight for. It's an old game, and that game is Pikmin 2.
Whoa.
Yeah. So a few months ago,
That was on GameCube, right? Too?
yeah, it was on GameCube.
Yeah, okay.
So I should qualify this. Pikmin 1 and 2 were originally on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And then they did new play control for the Wii.
Right, that's right.
And so I played with my girlfriend Pikmin 1, and she has come to me and she said Pikmin is her favorite Nintendo property of
Whoa.
anything.
Cool.
More than Mario, more than Zelda, more than Donkey Kong, Kirby, all of that. She just loves Pikmin. She thinks they're enjoyable, but more importantly, she thinks the games are really interesting. And in college, we played Pikmin 1, 2, and 3, but we would just kind of pick at them, and we didn't get all the way through them. But a couple of months ago, we played Pikmin 1. And that game is really cool, but there are certain things that make it extremely stressful. So you're on this...
I do remember Pikmin being stressful.
Yes, it is. It's very, very stressful. You're like on this planet, this planet that you have no idea what's going on, and you're trying to repair your ship, but you only have so many days to do it. And so when you mess up during a day, it feels really, really bad. Pikmin 2 kind of removes that with a different structure. You're trying to pay off a debt. 10,000, I forget what the currency in the game is, but you're trying to pay off $10,000 essentially. And so you don't have the limit for days. You just keep going until you've paid off the debt.
That's good. That's way nice.
Right. And so if you have a bad day, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's something like, oh man, I wasted that time. It's like, it's okay. Maybe I'll do better tomorrow. And that's really nice. But Pikmin 2 does a couple of things that I think are extremely commendable and super interesting. And the first that I want to talk about is it has these dungeons that you go into.
Ooh.
So in normal Pikmin, as you go throughout your day, you only have a certain amount of time until the day's over. When you're in these caves, or you can think of them as dungeons, that timer isn't there.
Okay.
But what makes them challenging is the Pikmin you bring in are the Pikmin you've got.
Yeah, so if they die, you can't get new ones.
Right, and so in normal Pikmin, if you get wiped out by a monster or you misread an attack correctly, you just go get more Pikmin. You can carry corpses over to get more, and you can't do that here. And I love that. It doesn't become a process of time management. It becomes an issue of strategy, where it's like, okay, like I can't just brute force my way through this because I don't know how many levels I'm going to have in this dungeon. So how am I going to deal with this? And it makes for like really intense boss fight moments that I just absolutely love. And like there are 2 new types of Pikmin in Pikmin 2. There's white Pikmin and purple Pikmin. And the purple Pikmin are these lovable fatzos that just do a ton of damage. And the white Pikmin, there's a bunch of things to them, but the white Pikmin can dig up treasure that other Pikmin can't. They can kind of sense it beneath the ground or something like that. And so you feel really good when you brought your white Pikmin with you into the dungeon so you can get that extra treasure. And also, you can have 2 characters. And so you can, and they expand upon this in Pikmin 3 with 3 different people.
I thought there was like 3 or 4 and 3, maybe 3. I don't know.
There's my understanding. There's 3 and 3.
Okay.
Pikmin 3 is next that we're gonna play all the way through. But just having that extra person and being like, okay, I'm gonna have you go over here and replenish Pikmin, and then I'm gonna have you over here and knock down this wall or carry a corpse over or something. Like just being able to divide the labor up a little bit is really, really, really good. And in Pikmin 3, what I have played of it, 3 felt like a little bit too much for me. Maybe I'm just a big old dummy, but 2 was a good sweet spot.
I never played 2.
Yeah, 2 is excellent. And I feel like the enemy variety is so much better in Pikmin 2 as well.
That's good.
There were a lot of enemies where it's in Pikmin 1 where it's like, oh, okay, like I just can, bring 100 Pikmin and I'll throw them super rapidly and I'll bring them down and I'll kill them. Whereas in Pikmin 2, it's like, oh, you're on balloons and you're throwing bombs that can wipe me out instantly. And so I need to bring my yellow Pikmin so I can throw you up high enough to hit the balloons to knock you down. And just, you have so many aha moments like that I love. But the case that I want to make to you guys is, I don't think Pikmin gets nearly the love that it deserves. Like, I think from a design standpoint, I think from a presentation standpoint, it is so good, and it's just kind of written off in a way that I don't understand. And I'm hot right now on Pikmin.
You're hot on Pikmin.
I just finished it, and I think it's excellent. But I think the world needs to give it a little bit more love. And I don't think amongst the others, I know Bloodworth is very into Pikmin, and I know Ryan Stevens used to be really into Pikmin, but I haven't, and maybe Kyle. Kyle could be another agent.
He probably either loves it or hates it for some reason.
That's usually with Kyle.
Sure. That's fair. But why do you think it is, if we're going to buy into my argument here that Pikmin doesn't get enough love, why do you think it is that Pikmin doesn't get the same attention?
I think just because of the style of the gameplay it is, of like a strategy kind of game, I just don't think it's as appealing to most people. Like, I like Pikmin, I think it's fine, but I'm not like, I'm never hungry for Pikmin. Like, Pikmin comes out, I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll try it. But I'm never like, I need Pikmin.
But do you think it's just because of what you think it is versus like your own actual experiences?
It's my own actual experience. I beat 1, and I've played a lot of 3.
Okay.
I just don't think their game's really for me. At least when I played 3, I was like, I'm not really into this right now.
What makes it not for Bradley Ellis?
I don't know. Like, I just wasn't into the strat. Like, I liked the Pikmin themselves. Like, I love the rock Pikmin in 3.
Right.
Awesome. But it's like, I don't know. I just didn't really enjoy it as much as other people. Like, going around, like, fighting guys is cool, but it got old for me.
Yeah. And, by the end of Pikmin 1, I really felt that. There were like some annoying things where it's like, okay, I have to figure out how to get my Pikmin to this very precarious spot, and it's like, oh, I didn't do it exactly in the right way, and so they died, and so I had to go get more. And I don't think, like, in Pikmin 1, the enemy variety was quite there. But in Pikmin 2, in terms of, like, level design, the intricacy of the levels, how much the 2 new Pikmin add, and the enemy variety, like, made it a much better game.
Yeah,
for me,
I never
was
played
like,
2.
Whoa, 2 is really good. I should bring it in. I should let you borrow it and see what you think. And what else I was surprised at is when you pay off the debt, there's this thing that happens, this post game thing, and I was like, whoa, really? Like they went that direction?
That's cool.
That was really, really cool. You were talking about strategy and maybe people feeling intimidated. And I get that a lot of times with real-time strategy, where it's like, okay, I have to send all these different units off to go do these things, and I also have to maintain a base. What I like about Pikmin is maybe kind of entry-level strategy is it's just like, there's not really a base I have to deal with. I'm just going to go explore and see what's out there and maybe fight some enemies.
I just don't know if it was the kind of strategy game I was into at the moment in time. Like, I could play it now and maybe like it way more, but when I did play it, I wanted something, like, it's totally unfair, but I wanted something like more like Warcraft 3, that kind of strategy, but I know it's on a controller, so it's way harder to do.
Right.
I just think at the time I'd rather play something more like akin to Warcraft 3.
Sure.
XCOM.
Or, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Ian,
I actually really like on a controller.
Why do you think Pikmin doesn't get as much love as I am claiming that it deserves, and why have you potentially never been drawn to Pikmin?
I've never played any of them.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't have any of the systems that they were on.
Let's say all of that stuff was just given to you. Do you think you'd be drawn to it?
Sure. I mean, like, if a new Pikmin comes out on the Switch, I would look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a shot if it came back.
And Brad, to be fair to you, like Pikmin is not a new thing, right? It's taken me a long time to reach this level of like, oh my gosh, this is really, really, really good. And it's one of those things that I hope for people. And I think Animal Crossing kind of went through it. I think New Leaf was a huge breakthrough in a lot of ways. Not that Animal Crossing wasn't popular before, but like Fire Emblem Awakening, I think was a breakthrough in a lot of ways.
Sure, yeah.
I hope that if a Pikmin does come out on Switch, it is this
where
kind
people
of
are like, whoa, hey, Pikmin.
Right, this kind of breakthrough.
Yeah, I feel like Pikmin's always like had kind of like a little fan base,
right,
but nowhere near the scope of other Nintendo IPs.
Yeah. Right. Right. It's just I feel so good about Pikmin 2 that I'm like, I really want a new F-Zero. I really want a new Star Fox, but I also really want a new Pikmin.
Isn't there a new Pikmin supposedly coming? They said a while ago?
Okay. This makes no sense. Years ago, Miyamoto casually dropped in an interview like, oh yeah, Pikmin 4 is almost done, and we haven't heard about it since.
Okay.
So that makes me believe that they're just trying to figure out timing and, going from something like the Wii U to the Switch.
Switch, yeah.
There's something happening there. But
Could be at E3. I'm hoping for you. I'm hoping for
Shadow
you that
drop.
it's there.
Yeah, I'd be really excited.
I'd be pumped for you.
I'd be really excited. And it's one of those things where my girlfriend loved it so much that she was like, oh man, once we finish 2, you're not going to want to go right into 3. You're going to want to break. 2 left such an impression on me that I'm way ready to go right into 3.
That's
3
good.
is
And
the
that
Wii
doesn't
U
happen
one?
to me.
Yes.
3 was on Wii U?
3 was on Wii U. Yep. And you can switch between 3 different people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
It's really, really good. I've got some good news, Brad. The Demons of the Frame Trap realm. So what happens is there's something that a panelist does that gets us caught, and we have to. There are these demons that run this show. In order to get out, we have to play this little game, and we have to talk about some sponsors. But they've been weird lately. Last time in Caught in a Frame Trap, they just really liked Huber's shirt. They thought it was too powerful. It was a shirt of Bowser.
Too powerful.
And
Is this where the shirt comment came from? Of saying I don't wear the shirt that he had, the Ganon one?
probably I don't
Like Mike
remember.
was, I guess he was complaining about me not wearing the shirt with him. It's like, I don't see you every day, Huber. I wear the shirt. What are you thinking, Huber? You don't say, hey, Brad, we wear the shirt. I'm going to wear my Bowser shirt. You don't say that, Huber.
I guess the audience will have to pick a side.
Typical Huber making a big deal out of non-situation.
Throwing
as you would
gasoline
say,
on a
as you would say,
non-situation.
throwing gasoline on a non-situation.
Shades of alien isolation.
Yeah, but the demons have been really weird lately, and that things have been tripping them up, or they've just been like doing it for funsies in a way that they haven't been before.
It's E3 time.
It's not just a word that offends them; it will be something else. And you said the name of a game that they love, that they have so much respect for, that they're like, oh man, put them in the demon realm. Do you have any idea what that game could be?
Monkey Island?
Warcraft 3.
Oh.
Warcraft 3
There are
is the name
demons
of
in
the
Warcraft 3. The Burning Legion.
Yeah. And so for every frame trap, we play a little bit of a game, and, jokes and stupid lore aside, it's just a good way to break up the what have you been playing conversation and have a little bit of fun. And I have a lot of fun coming up with these games. And I get into a habit of saying this a lot, but I really mean it this time. This game is called What's in a Rating? So what I did is I went to the ESRB website,
Okay.
and I looked at descriptions for rating descriptions, like why they were rated a certain way, rating descriptions for games. And based on that description, you're going to have to tell me what the game is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And so we've got 5 descriptions,
All
and the
right.
person with the most gets the honor of breaking us out of the frame trap realm.
Okay.
Just a heads up, some of these descriptions are a little on the crass side.
Oh.
If that is something that bothers you. And also, in order to make...
ESRB's own descriptions are crass?
Well, they just say what's in the game, and sometimes that can get
yeah.
a little juicy.
Little dicey.
Yeah. And also, in a couple of instances, I may leave out a word or two just to not make it completely obvious.
Sure.
So, I may not say something like Mario
Yeah.
in order to make it a little...
Bayonetta
so there's some
swears too
editing
much,
as
yeah.
well. But first, before we get onto that, we've got some wonderful sponsors in the show. This month, we actually have more sponsors than ever, which is really cool. Thank you for your support of the show. Our first sponsor is Greg, TheDarkKnight Kettering. Once again,
Excellent.
longest sponsor on Frame Trap. Next sponsor is Dale's son. Dale just wanted to support the Allies, but since he has a plug, he's a game developer. The month of May. With the month of May off, so he's going to be streaming a bunch. Stop by if you're bored. You can find him if you want to check out Dale's son on twitch.tv/StuffOnARock.
Stuff on a rock.
Yeah,
Stuff
his
on a
user
Like it.
profile on Patreon, his profile picture is Danganronpa.
Excellent.
Monokuma from Danganronpa.
Excellent.
So he's a man of taste.
Yes.
And that is potentially a huge reason why you may want to see him on there. Next sponsor, we've got Sean and Erika Cleeves. Thank you, Sean and
Thank
Erika. After that, we've got Jesse Jesterfer. That's his name on Twitch. Vitelli. And you can find him on Twitter at Jesse Vitelli. Next, what's up?
Said thank you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Did you skip one?
No.
Oh.
No.
I did skip one. Look at Eagle Eye.
Ooh, saved.
Keeping me on my toes. Well, I did skip a sponsor, and I'm super sorry to Brian Smith.
Brian Smith.
Say it again
Thank
as an
you.
apology.
I will say you know what? We're all going to say Brian Smith
Okay.
as an apology for my fuck up. Brian Smith.
Brian Smith.
Brian Smith.
No. We got to do it with more respect. So I'm going to go.
I didn't know if we were doing it at the same time.
I know, I
or-
thought you were gonna do a
we were
countdown.
doing a
Okay, it wasn't
countdown.
well explained.
I was confused.
I'm going
Yeah,
to
me
say
too.
Brian Smith, and then we're going to have 2 seconds pass, and then Brad is going to say
Okay.
it, and then we're going to have 2 seconds pass, and Ian is going to say it.
Okay.
All right. Brian Smith.
Brian Smith.
Brian Smith.
Thank you, Brian Smith.
Thank you.
Our next sponsor, and I'm not going to mess up the name this time, is Michael Favocci.
Ooh,
Ah.
nice.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael, last time had us go through. They're doing their own E3 bets,
Ooh.
and so
Oh.
we helped them out with that as well. Now we're moving on to a new thing that we're trying. We're moving on to mega sponsors, and we've got 2 mega sponsors who are sponsoring both the Easy Allies podcast and Frame Trap. And the first of the sponsors, you know him, you love him. It's Hogue Law.
Hogla.
Ogla.
And last time I read the Hogue Law description, and I am no Brandon Jones, so I don't know if I did the correct honors to it. So I'm actually going to throw it over to Ian and have him. You can compare Ian with me with Brandon Jones, and he's going to read the Hogue Law description.
Just read it like Brandon.
Yeah. Hogue Law, business law firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. And now, that good business lawyer has a YouTube channel with at least one video, which Ian Hink has called really well written, and Kyle Bossman has called easily shareable. Check it out at youtube.com/HoegLaw, H-O-E-G, law. Hogue
Nice.
Law.
I think
good.
that was
That was
excellent.
very good.
I think it was excellent. Brad, do you want to take a
got a
stab
little
at our
tripped up.
second mega sponsor?
Let's see.
It's the one word.
Oh. Blue.
Thank you, Blue.
Thank you, Blue.
A very moving read.
Yeah, very moving read.
Yeah.
Ian, no, I got to give it to you. That Hogue Law
That was
Brandon
very
Jones
good,
lead
Brandon,
is
yeah.
classic. I think you really did a great job.
I got a little tripped up because I didn't expect myself
yourself to be in there.
I was like,
Yeah,
ah!
I was hoping you would chuckle a little bit in that.
When you're
And
like,
you
read
did.
the sponsor, I was like, what?
Yeah, you got
You
kind of
mean
lost
like a
in.
paragraph. and I
You
was
mean
like,
this color?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got lost in the Benmore formatting, Google Doc formatting there.
I saw you scrolling past a bunch of stuff. I'm like, is he skipping more sponsors?
Watch,
What's
I
happening?
skipped like 5
Yeah, like
sponsors.
30 sponsors.
No,
I'm like,
I'll
what's
go
happening?
through. No, we're good. We're caught
Okay,
up.
okay.
We're caught up.
Cool.
Okay. Yes. Great. Great. Didn't skip the sponsors. Thank you for supporting the show, all the sponsors. Now we're going to be moving on to the game. Are you guys ready to play?
Yes.
Yeah.
Quick refresher on the rules. Some of these summaries are a little bit long, so prepare for that.
Okay.
Do not answer until the summary is completely read. I'm bad at enforcing that, but we're going to try here.
How will we know when it's done? Can you make a little chime noise?
I'll wink.
Okay.
I'll wink at you. And if you want to answer, the first one to whisper HOTTAKE and then give an answer is the one who will
Right.
gets to go first. But you know that. You love it. It's time for Caught in a Frame Trap. All right. The first rating
love it.
summary is: this is an action game in which players assume the role of androids attempting to save Earth from extraterrestrial machines. Players use swords, spears, lances, and lasers to destroy enemy robots in melee-style combat. Large explosions and realistic gunfire are frequently heard during combat. Some sequences depict blood and additional acts of violence against human-like characters. A man impaled through the chest with a sword, resulting in large blood spatter effects. Character lying in pools of blood after getting stabbed. Some characters wear revealing outfits with partially exposed buttocks.
Oh.
I knew it from the first word.
Oh.
One male character is depicted nude without genitalia. The words fuck and shit are heard in dialogue.
Is it over?
Yeah.
HOTTAKE.
I'm a bad winker.
Near automata.
You got it. That's a point on the board for Ian.
Nice.
Brad, did you know?
At first, I thought he was talking like Mass Effect 3. I was like, what? Because I never played it. And I just remember that CG trailer of like weird robot things.
Sure.
But then there was like no
You just gave Brad a
male
point.
gender.
I did. I always do that. I always give him one, and then I always cross off.
Yeah.
Like, wait, no, they don't both have
But
a
then
point.
when they said
I've done
no
that, like,
male genitalia, I was like,
4
is
times.
he talking about near?
Yeah.
All right, the next one is quite a bit harder, I think.
Ooh.
Okay.
For this crowd.
Gotcha.
Okay. And it's also the longest one.
Okay, settling.
This is an open world tactical shooter in which players assume the role of a member of an elite special ops military unit. Players are tasked with completing missions and military objectives, such as reconnaissance, extraction, and assassinations, in order to take down a Bolivian drug cartel. From a third-person perspective, players mostly use stealth attacks and firearms. Some areas allow players to briefly interrogate enemies while holding them at gunpoint. Other areas briefly depict enemies beating and interrogating bound prisoners. A few scenes depict mutilated bodies among large pools of blood. A handful of cutscenes show enemies holding severed heads dripping with blood. The game includes some sexual material. A woman slapping a man in bed while straddling his waist. Both figures are clothed. Brief photographic images of a woman's breasts. The game includes several drug references in the storyline, and the use of drugs, a man being forced to sniff several lines of cocaine. Various images of marijuana and cocaine are included as well. The words fuck and shit are heard in the dialogue.
Oh my god. I don't know. Go for it.
HOTTAKE?
I'll give you a hint. It was a game that has been released in the last 2 years.
I have a guess. That helps. That helps a little.
Okay.
Far Cry 4?
No, incorrect.
3? 2?
Cartel?
Brad, it goes to you.
Oh god. Is it? Oh, I don't think it's right. HOTTAKE, it's like some Army of 2 bullshit.
It is not some Army of 2
Okay.
bullshit.
Is it Wildlands? HOTTAKE. Is it Wildlands?
What is the full title?
Oh God.
Come on, you know it.
Tom Clancy's.
I know it.
Damn it! Splinter Cell. No. God damn it! Wildlands.
HOTTAKE?
Yeah.
Ghost Recon Wildlands?
Damn it!
Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands?
This is a tough call. This comes down to the judge. Ian, you did a lot of the legwork there. Yeah. Brad, you hit it home. For the sake of competition, I'm going to give it to Brad.
Oh,
It is Ghost Recon Wildlands.
damn it! I
never
knew it
played
wasn't
that.
Splinter Cell.
I haven't played that.
I never
I
played
forgot
it.
about that game
Never
existed.
played- yeah.
All
You're
right.
welcome.
Thank you.
This next one is
Got
much
him.
shorter. To maybe get your head on right, these are all pretty recent games. A lot of
Okay.
the older ones didn't have rating summaries.
Oh,
Okay,
sure.
okay.
So, yeah. All right, you ready for the next one?
Yes.
This is an action game in which players assume the role of a warrior swordsman in pursuit of a villain during feudal Japan. As players traverse villages and ancient castles, they use swords, spears, longbows, and rifles to kill human enemies and demonic creatures in melee style and ranged combat. Some attacks result in large sprays of blood as enemies are decapitated and or dismembered. Some areas also depict large smears of blood on walls and mounds of corpses on a battlefield. Cutscenes depict additional acts of violence, a man impaled through the chest with a crystal shard, a creature stabbed through the head with a sword.
HOTTAKE.
Brad.
Neo.
He's got it!
Yep.
You knew it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too easy.
Yeah. Too easy.
Too easy.
All right.
3
all right.
easy, 5 us.
Well, how about number 4?
Uh oh.
Oh, jeez.
This is an action-adventure game in which players help a small hero composed of ancient relics protect mankind from an invading goblin army. Players use punches, jumping attacks, and various super moves to defeat human soldiers and fantasy creatures. As players progress through the game, the creature can grow in size to battle larger enemies, including tanks, mechanized battle suits, and attack planes. The somewhat frenetic combat is accompanied by impact sounds and mild explosions.
HOTTAKE.
Ian.
Knack.
It's Neck!
Bullshit. How dare you put that on here?
It's Neck! Oh, when did you know?
Immediately.
Was it Invading Goblin Army?
It was even before that a small composed of artifacts or whatever.
So during that description, it was Knack can grow in size. I changed it to the creature can grow in size.
Yeah.
Knack.
Good change. Good change.
So it's 2 and 2.
Uh oh.
Good
Coming
meme.
down to the last question.
Who will have to debase themselves
Who
before
will
the
come
demon?
out on top? This is an action role-playing game in which players assume the role of a hero who must rebuild the world using the power of creation. Players traverse environments, gather and combine raw materials, build structures, and engage in combat against attacking monsters. Players use swords, hammers, and bombs to defeat enemies. Most attacks cause enemies to burst or fall apart on the battlefield before disappearing. One enemy creature, Bloody Hand, is depicted as a hand covered in red slime. The game also contains some suggestive text or dialogue, such as scandalous swimsuit, racy red swimwear for those who like to show some skin, and when night falls, do the two of you retire to the same room to spend some special time together? During the course of the game, players can acquire or craft a beer barrel item. The words damn and hell appear in text/dialogue.
I have no idea what this is, dude.
Dragon Quest Builders? HOTTAKE? No. I don't know.
Yeah, Dragon Quest Builders is
No, it's not that. I was like Disgaea, but you don't build and you use other weapons.
like a town, building a town? Action RPG, building a town.
Oh, it's an action RPG. I forgot about that.
Do you both give up?
Hang on.
Hold on. Hold your horses.
Hold your
Let's
horses.
think for a
Hold
second.
on.
Horses held.
Hold the phone.
Yeah.
People are probably like,
Yeah, oh, they're screaming. It's okay.
It's this, you idiots. Bloody Hand. Sounds kind of familiar.
Ian, you're playing games with my heart here.
Is it Japanese? It's Japanese.
Oh, it's
title?
Japanese. It's gotta be right.
Is it Japanese?
You just
title?
need to follow the rules of the show.
Oh, HOTTAKE? Dragon Quest Builders?
Yes.
I
Oh.
said HOTTAKE Dragon Quest Builders.
Okay.
Did I not? Did
No,
I not?
here's
I thought I
here's
said Dragon Quest Builders, HOTTAKE Dragon Quest Builders.
you did.
Oh, but I didn't whisper it.
Well, no, it was just the Dragon Quest Builders and then the HOTTAKE and then the Dragon Quest Builders, which threw me off.
Oh, yeah.
Play by the rules
You can give it to Brad. You can give it to Brad.
I don't know, man. I feel like I jerked you over before.
Hey, I would love to not have to do some crazy thing.
You know what? The best breaking out of the caught in a frame trap, and this is just a lesson to follow the rules, is when it's the two of them together. And so I'm going to give a point to both of you.
Oh!
And you don't have to collectively break out of the frame trap. We've had some really good ones. And so you need to combine your efforts to do a word, a phrase, or preferably a crazy action that
I got
potentially
it.
causes harm to you or
Let's do
others.
fusion.
We've done fusion before.
Who did that? Me and Huber?
I don't remember who did it, but it's been done before. We can't do fusion again. You got to get more creative.
More creative than fusion?
Yes.
We could do the Steven Universe style of fusion.
I don't know what that is.
They like dance.
Nope.
Dancing, I'm way on board with.
Dual attack.
Dual attack.
Dude, let's do cross slash.
How's that go?
We'll
Yeah,
just-
you gotta have
we'll
Ian in
just-
there
so,
too.
like, we'll do it in front of the camera, so Ian will be on one side, and I'll run in front of you, and you go like that. But we'll do it near the camera more.
Okay.
We've got some 4D breaking out of a frame trap here.
Cross slash.
All right, that's gonna be our show. Thanks for watching. No, I like that. I like that. It's good stuff.
I'm the frog.
I don't know if anything will ever beat the father-son Kamehameha attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's what me and Huber did, right?
Was it you and Huber? I thought Kyle was involved in that. I don't know. I have a terrible memory. But what I don't have in my life right now is Bradley Ellis talking about Hyperlight Drifter.
Oh, yes. Hyperlight Drifter.
Hyperlight Drifter. Brad, this is a game I've been meaning to beat forever. And
Yeah,
just
that's why I
haven't.
was like, oh, I should play this finally.
Yeah. So now that you've actually finished the thing, people say Hyperlight Drifter is very hard, Souls-like in some ways.
Sure.
What are your final opinions on it?
Challenging at certain moments. I would say it's a good difficulty. I died, definitely. Mm-hmm. I died at a lot of knowing parts, like weird trap. Pulling Damiani here, bad hit detection on traps.
Really?
Like walls coming out, like smashing, and me being on the side of the wall and kind of getting like sucked into the side of the wall and dying.
So that sucks.
I tested it like 3 times just to make sure too.
Sure.
I
Sure.
call
Sure.
that. Combat was pretty tough. The last boss I down probably 5 times. So like a good amount where I was like, oh, that was a good challenge. I had to actually think
Yeah.
on some of the fights. So yeah, pretty good difficulty.
Cool. Since I've been away from it so long,
Yes.
and I have so many games to play, is it good enough that you would say throw that all aside and play some Hyperlight
It
Drifter?
depends what you're playing. I wouldn't say throw everything aside, but I think it's a very good game. That's enjoyable. It's not too long either. It probably took me around like 6 hours to beat it, something like that. It's a very Zelda-esque, like top-down kind of adventure game, going through areas,
Right.
with more kind of like quickie, in-depth combat. You could get like special moves. You get guns during it that you can use, like multiple guns. I got like a pistol, and you get like a shotgun and like a laser kind of thing. You get upgrades like a dash strike like that. A lot of variety in the enemies, which is really cool. Like every area had like different types of enemies, which I liked, and every area kind of had like context of why it's there. One thing about this game that's interesting, there's like no text. There's no text from like anybody. Like how all the stories told you is just through like pictures and visions. Like I don't know what the hell the story's about, really. I played it once. It feels like a game.
He's sick and he's going to get a heal.
Yeah, I know he was sick, but I didn't know, and like the world's kind of destroyed, and that's all I could really figure out just from playing it the one time. I mean, I didn't explore every inch of the game.
Yeah.
But that's what I kind of pieced together.
Yeah.
Pretty fun to explore. So basically everything, how it goes down, Ben, is there's 4 sections in the game. You go to one side and it's like a certain area. So example, one of them was like a forest. One was like a water area. One was a mountain. One was a desert kind of thing. And within these areas, you have to find a certain power-up item to open a door. So you usually have to collect 4 to open a door to get to the boss, which opens up like 4 pillars in the middle of the game to get to the last boss.
Sure.
So it's fun going through these areas. It's really easy to overlook things. Like a lot of stuff's really hidden in this game, and you kind of have to backtrack. Or like, I mean, it's designed around backtracking, which is fine, but you have to be super observant of your locales to find these kind of things, which I did have fun doing. I kind of got sick of looking for these pieces every single time.
Sure.
I think it would have been cool if it was maybe like 1 or 2 times, but every single time you do that, which is, it's fine, but I just kind of got a little sick of it.
Yeah.
But I think it was an enjoyable time, and I'm really glad I played it.
Cool.
Really cool music, too, by the way. Really interesting vibe. Very, like, post-apocalyptic. Like, I hate that setting, but I think it worked really well in this game. I think they did a good job with that.
Disaster piece, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think you're absolutely
piece,
correct.
yes.
Also, excellent work on Fez. Brad,
Yes.
based on my time with Hyperly Drifter, something that stuck out to me is they were definitely like implications about the world and the characters and the people living inside of them. And I was like, oh, that seems interesting. And you said that you kind of finished it, and you're like, I don't really have a good sense of what's going on.
Yeah, I was like following a dog through the game, and I was like, what is this?
Do you think it was presented in such a way that you want to find out more?
Kind of. I mean, at this time in my life, I have so much stuff I have to do. Maybe if I had a little more time, I would invest more into it, because there is interesting things to see in that world. But this time I was like, okay, I kind of got to move on.
Sure.
It wasn't important enough for me to like make time to figure more out about it.
But you had a good enough time.
I had a good time.
You played it.
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Ian, I remember back in the GT days before Hyperlight Drifter came out, you and I had conversations about it, about how cool it looked and how excited we were.
Yeah.
Did you play it after it came out? Did you finish it?
I haven't finished it. I've played 1 or 2 of the worlds. I'm friends with the people who made it. So there's that. But yeah, it's one of those games, again, like that I've always intended to go back and finish, and I just haven't yet. But yeah, I really liked it. The combat was really good. I didn't love the dashing. I remember that's what
there is like a weird. So you can upgrade this dash pin to be able to dash like multiple times really quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
And the timing feels really weird.
Timing was very weird. Like I remember a mini game.
Yes,
where you could try to like dash as many times as you want, and the timing just like didn't make sense to me.
It didn't make sense to me either. I'm glad you said that.
And
Okay,
like,
I want to dig into this a little bit, because timing for a dash being weird, like what could make that weird? Was there like a delay?
It felt like it felt like there's like a rhythm to it, but
Yeah.
it felt like the rhythm was changing every time I
I think
was
it
doing
speeds
it.
up.
Oh.
I think the rhythm like speeds
Yeah,
up.
I couldn't really nail it down.
I could never
see.
nail it down.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's like kind of this inconsistency.
That's what it felt like.
or just because it changes, it's hard to get down any of the times.
And in a game without words, where they can't tell you that that's what's happening, and like I think I'm sure there's a way that they're indicating it, but like I can't remember if it was sound
you
or visual
get it
or
from
what.
the shop, and it says like push X then X again.
Yeah,
Like, that's all
yeah,
you get
yeah.
kind of for it in like a direction.
Which is
Right.
fine in the room next to it when you get it, where you can test it out. But I remember there was a puzzle later where I had to dash across pits or like to not get smushed by these things.
Yeah, there's like a part where there's a floor you have to dash across because it falls down really quickly, so you have to dash
And
across.
I remember there were
it.
things coming out of the walls to smash me, and I just got really annoyed.
Yeah, it didn't feel like really that great. Like I felt like I should have been more in control, but I didn't feel that in control. I was like, I hope I get it this time, kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. And like to me the cardinal sin of a video game, especially a puzzle game, is I know what I have to do. It's just annoying to do it. And that felt like that, where I was like, the timing of this dash is really weird, and I don't know why I can't get through this puzzle. Which again, like, isn't like a deal breaker. It's just like what made me put it down at that time, and I just haven't gone back yet, but I intend to.
I think what created a break for me, and I really did always mean to get back to it, is sort of along the same lines, but maybe slightly different, where it wasn't that I didn't know what I needed to do. It was that I knew what I needed to do, and I would kind of get, like, crushed on a room, and it would take me several times to get through it, and be like, oh, okay, and then I did it. And then it would get to another room, and it'd be like, oh, man, I'm getting crushed again. And so it just, like, kind of wore me down, I think, a little bit as a player. And obviously, there's certainly some get good aspect to that.
Oh, yeah.
But
definitely.
I think anytime you have a game like that, where it's just like so many steps of it are a struggle until you properly learn it, you need to create a little bit of a break for yourself. Brad, did you find that, or was it pretty easy for you to get through?
I mean, I think it had like a nice progression of like difficulty in that sense.
Yeah.
Like the beginning area was pretty damn easy, except for like some traps that I thought were kind of cheesy.
Yeah.
Like for example, there's like spike traps in it, and you can clearly see where they are. But when you go over it, they actually come out on the side of it, like further than the indicator of the mark. So I died just because it came out further than it was actually showing me. It's like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like I get it now, but I wish I knew. Like, what's the point of having a grid there where I could clearly see where it would come out, but it doesn't? It comes out from further spots than that.
Sure.
Just a weird kind of thing. I was questioning like why they would do that.
Yeah, some poor communication.
Yeah. But yeah, the combat I think definitely ramps up and I think it gets better because you get more tools to your combat. You get like the grenade, you get the dash attack, which adds a lot more variety, which I think is really good.
Brad, anytime you have an action game and you say, hey, it keeps evolving over time,
Yeah, it
keeps
gets
getting
better.
better and more interesting, like that's a huge sell for me
you get,
personally.
Like you get abilities like you can hit back their attacks. Like a lot of guys have projectiles in this. You can just hit them back. Like, it's really cool. Some dude, like, shoots a rocket at you, and you, like, cut it, and it gets cut in half. It looks really rad.
Yes, nice.
It's a very cool game.
Yeah, it looks really great.
That was a huge thing for me with Pikmin 2, where it was like, oh, I am countering totally new challenges right into the very end. Yeah, I think it's extremely important. All right. So last time on Frame Trap, I talked about the demo of this game and how much I liked it, but now it's fully out. And, Ian, I got to tell you, I was attributing Brandon as being the one who was obsessed with PixelJunk Monsters, but I think it was you. People were saying that you really loved the first PixelJunk Monsters.
I played it with my roommate Joe like an insane amount in Chicago. Yeah.
And was it just like, why was it such a good game to play an insane amount of with a friend?
I don't know. It's just really delightful, kind of like challenging enough that the first one, it was challenging enough, but also kind of just like turn your brain off enough that it was just the perfect game to like chill with your friend and play together. I haven't tried co-op yet, and there's online multiplayer too. I'm pretty sure. But yeah,
what you said is a big part of the appeal for something like a Call of Duty for me, where you just kind of like there's enough to think about and enough pressure that it's at least somewhat engaging, but you can also turn off your mind and just kind of sit there and veg out.
Yeah.
I love that when you get into that specific zone with a video game. With PixelJunk Monsters 2, I'm really loving it, but I have no experience with PixelJunk Monsters, and a complaint that I saw in a review is that it doesn't have enough new ideas. Do you find that to be the case or a problem for you with PixelJunk Monsters 2?
Compared to PixelJunk Monsters 1 or just in general?
Just from having played so much 1 going into PixelJunk Monsters 2, is it fresh for you?
I mean, it seems like kind of more of the same. I don't remember the specific towers in 1, but I think there were ice towers that slow guys down. I think there were, similar towers. It feels very much similar. It has a different look.
Yeah, I think that look is great.
The look is very cute.
Oh, it's so charming.
Like a kind of tilt shift sort of miniaturized. Everything has like a clay or wood kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. This one seems a little harder than 1. But
more
maybe,
immediately difficult?
Yeah. But maybe I'm just misremembering. And also, like, I played 1 almost exclusively co-op, and I haven't tried co-op here, so there's that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I mean, to me, it's like, I don't love tower defense games in general, except for PixelJunk Monsters for whatever reason. So yeah, it's kind of like more of the same isn't really a bad thing to me.
I kind of touched on this last time, but I want to see if you agree. A big thing for me with PixelJunk Monsters 2 and why I said I didn't like tower defense games in the past is I didn't like it where you just sort of be like, okay, this is how I'm going to kill everything, and then you just sat back and watched it. It was very passive. What I love about PixelJunk Monsters is how active it is, where it's like, okay, I got to go and I got to disassemble this thing, and then I got to go get these coins, and I got to be over here, and I got to bid flowers over here, and they're going this path now, and I got to go deal with that, and so like it's just kind of frantic, which is what I love about that. Is that a big part of the appeal for you, and do you think the franticness is ever a problem?
Sometimes it's like real intense, and there are times maybe I should be disassembling more now that you say that, because I've only done it a couple of times. Because I've always been kind of like I want to set up my thing and then let it go. I mean, not I like the activeness, but like I like the strategy of like, okay, this is my tower, we're here, and that's what it is. But yeah, there have been times where I've like run out of resources and there are guys coming in at the chibis and I'm just like, oh no, it gets really intense. So yeah, it's less relaxing than I remember one being. One I remember getting hard way later, but yeah, I don't know.
This is kind of a shitty thing to complain about, but I've been running it into early on with PixelJunk Monsters 2, and I don't think it's a fault of the game. I think it's a fault of me. But so when you kill enemies, they'll drop coins and gems that you can pick up to upgrade your stuff. And the coins disappear, and there have been multiple moments where I'm like, oh, come on, man, I was just trying to deal with this crisis over here. Keep the coins around for me. And so that's been a little frustrating, but not a huge deal.
Definitely keeps the pressure on. And like also, I was talking about this with Brandon, like you definitely have to be aware of where you're killing things, because if you kill something over water or a chasm, that's gone. The coins are gone.
That's actually even true, like kind of among trees, because you'd be harder to see things.
Hard to see them. Or like if they just roll, because there's physics on them. So like if a coin lands uphill, it's gonna like bounce down the hill.
Yeah.
And it just takes longer to get it. But you can. The opposite is also true. Like you can intentionally do that where you have like gutters that'll bring the coins to you. Like it's nothing better than when you killed a bunch of things. All the coins have come downhill. You were over here doing something. You just come in and just scoop them all up. So yeah, it's a really interesting game. I want to try the co-op, but
yeah,
it's cute and fun and simple. Yeah.
Brad.
Yes.
If Huber called you up at 12:59 a.m. and said, Brad, play co-op PixelJunk Monsters with me. It's $15. Get in here. I need your help. Would you do it?
Depends what I'm doing.
Let's say you are cutting up meat for tomorrow's meal.
No, sorry, Huber.
So the meat is more important.
If I have nothing to do and I'm totally free, sure.
Okay. Is PixelJunk Monsters 2 inherently appealing to you?
I don't have a ton of experience with PixelJunk. I played a little with Mike when it came out, the first one, and I liked it. Mm-hmm. I have interest in playing it. I don't know when I'll be able to get to it, but I would like to try it.
Ian, as somebody who played an insane amount of PixelJunk Monsters 1, do you find yourself like kind of chomping at the bit to play PixelJunk Monsters 2? Is this something that you're going to be picking away at over a long period of time, or do you think it's something that you could potentially drop and lose interest in?
Maybe I could see myself dropping it eventually if it just gets like I could see it hitting a wall, like a difficulty wall, because I don't think I'm like overly great at it. Like I think that playing it with my friend Joe pushed me forward a lot in PixelJunk Monsters 1 and like that kind of co-op vibe. And since I don't have that currently, I could see myself burning out on it a little. But that said, it's a great game for like, oh, I'm on the airplane, I've got some time to kill, might as well scoop it up. Like
Ian,
yeah.
I'm so mad.
Why?
Because I realized that you're playing it on Switch and I'm playing it on PS4.
Playing on Switch.
Because I was like, hey, man, let's do this. Let's do this together.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Switch, baby. It's a perfect Switch game.
It's a perfect Switch game.
Of course, I kind of tend to... Lately, if I have the choice, I'll play it on Switch.
I'm doing a shitty thing, and it's super shitty, and I shouldn't do it, where, like, trophies are mattering to me more than they should, and if I have an option... I pick it on PlayStation because I want the trophies. Ben, and that's dumb.
Are you
that's
saying you buy
dumb.
a game on a certain platform because it has trophies?
Yes.
Yes. Maybe if Nintendo did that.
Yes, Brad. I'm saying I'm a sucker.
Trophies have never mattered to me at all, so like
Exactly.
I don't know what it is. They didn't used to, like, I really cared about achievements, and then I didn't care about achievements or trophies, and now I just care about trophies. And I think, you know what? Honestly, I think it's because that trophy sound is so damn good.
Yeah.
When I hear the blink, it makes me happy.
It's just little shots of dopamine constantly.
You know, and I'm going to be 29 soon, and as you get older, I think you get more... the simple things, man.
Yeah, man.
I just want to hear the blink.
I love the bling.
I love the blink.
I like the bling. You get an achievement on Xbox, it's like
Make it your ringtone.
And now, on Xbox, they'll let you know, they'll give you a little fucking gem, and they'll be like, ooh, this one's rare. Don't you feel good? And I do.
Yeah.
I do feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on
Platinuming
that,
Bloodborne felt good.
Get on
Yeah.
that Nintendo.
We do patron D&D. I DM for people, and one of the guys was like, hey, I platinumed God of War, and it's not that hard. And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah. I looked at it for God of War. I looked at
Yeah.
it. The one thing I didn't want to do is go back and try to find all the birds.
Sure.
Because I killed like half or more than half, and I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm not looking forward to the most, but I also don't think it'd be that hard to go and get all the birds. I don't know.
No.
Just time
Wear
consuming.
headphones.
Yeah,
They make a
it's time
sound.
consuming, yeah.
But what I love about it is, like, I play God of War, I loved it. I said to myself, like, oh, I'll go and do that stuff that I didn't do. But when you have just that little bit of an extra incentive to go get those trophies, as shallow and dumb as it might be, I think it's cool. I think it's nice to have a little bit of an
It
extra
adds
push.
longevity.
To me, it's a good benchmark of like, okay, have I seen and done most of the stuff in this game?
Sure.
Right.
Like, it's a good way of keeping track more than anything for me.
I'm glad that you brought that up, Ian, because for me, chasing after achievements or trophies comes down to two things: either pure love or like, oh, well, I already did 70% of
Right.
it. Yeah.
It's like, I'm almost
Sure.
there. Might as well do it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Absolutely.
basically already platinum this thing. All I have to do is beat Yarnum.
There's one last thing I want to talk about, and because I haven't finished it yet, I kind of want to save a longer spiel for a later frame trap, but I'm going to get into it for just a couple of minutes here. So I've been playing Pokemon Sun. I've been trying to finish up Pokemon Sun. I started this when it came out, and I didn't finish it.
That's the newest one?
Well, Ultra Sun,
Well,
Ultra
they-
Moon
they
are technically,
re-released
but
it.
like,
Yeah.
we're in the. It's part of the most recent generation.
I
of
still don't
Pokemon.
understand how they're allowed, like, how they get away with that. Like,
It's
it's already 2 games when it comes out, and then a year later you release the same 2 games again, just with, like, more stuff?
Yes. I mean, a lot of games, especially recently, have been coming out with just like, hey, it's the same thing with more stuff. But
Like Game
it's-
of the Year
it's-
edition or whatever.
It's because it's Pokemon, because it's reached this certain level, but it's also because, and the thing that I want to comment on today is Pokemon fits all of the spots for me, and it is right now. And what I mean by that is sometimes I'll be like really worn out by the day, or something really stressful will happen, and I can turn on Pokemon, and it's just fun going through the grass, catching something, beating people, and having it not be that hard.
Yeah.
But then there are other times where I feel like I have more energy, and I feel like I want to dig a little bit deeper, and Has be like, I'm catching every Pokemon in this area. Okay, pull out the book. When do I get them? Where are they? And I think the flexibility of it has been why it's really captivated me in this moment. The reason I actually picked Sun back up is because I'm excited about Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee coming out on Switch. Just the idea of Pokemon on Switch is really appealing to me. But my problem with Pokemon, I really tried to get back into it with X and Y. I really tried to get back into it with Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and then again with Sun and Moon, is just that like I'm usually not responsible for covering Pokemon, and so I get distracted by other things and I leave it unfinished. But this time I'm committing to it. And I think what's really helping me is, and why I was able to complete the Pokedex in Generation 1, is because I had people to talk about it with and share experiences with and battle and trade with. And I think that's actually a huge part of it. Like, Pokemon is still great when I'm playing it by myself. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you shouldn't play Pokemon alone. But for me, and maybe for you too, playing Pokemon with other people is like, it just enhances the experience on every level.
Yes.
And so something that I've been a part of, and a bunch of people on the Easy Allies Discord have done. It was an idea that I had, and they, full credit to them, they really took it and ran with it, is we started this little Pokemon book club. And so what we did, we didn't actually pick Pokemon Sun and Moon, we picked Pokemon Crystal. And what we're doing is we all have a goal every week. And it's like, for this week, it's like get to the first gym and then talk about your experience. And I think we're going to make it a little bit more taxing for the next one. But, relatively bite-sized goals every week. And so if you want to play Pokemon, if you want to revisit it, go ahead and do it. The reason we picked Pokemon Crystal is a lot of people have experience with it, and everybody can get it on 3DS. And so if you want to get in on the Pokemon train, and it's been super fun for me because I've just been popping in there talking about Pokemon and hyping it up and loving it and sharing, favorites and least favorites and all that kind of thing. I'm going to put a link to the Easy Allies Discord in there. And if you want to play Pokemon Crystal with us, go ahead. Don't worry that you're not in there at the beginning. Like, this is totally just a thing that's for fun.
Yeah.
And so you can be behind. No one's going to judge you or care or anything like that. And so I'll put a link to the Discord. And if you want to play Pokemon with us, that's what a huge reason why I'm in there, is because I want to talk about Pokemon. But you talk about other things as well. You talk about video games or anime or whatever it is. It's just a cool place to go and hang out with people. And so if you want to be a part of it, you can. Put a link in the description.
Video games, anime, whatever.
Yeah.
The only two things really to talk about.
The only
Movies,
two
I guess.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you go home and you meet with your family, you don't say like, "Hey, what do you think of the
That's
last?"
about it.
Yeah, it's just anime.
Yeah, just mostly anime.
I've
Mostly like
never met
Millennium
somebody.
Actress.
What's up?
Huh? Perfect Blue, a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but apparently a classic.
It's pretty depressing.
You know why I haven't seen it is because I can't find a copy of it anywhere. It's like you go on eBay and they're like charging through the nose prices for
I had
Perfect
it.
Blue.
I used to have it.
Yeah,
Not anymore.
it's crazy. Like when I was getting to know my relatives, they would all come at me with a different anime that they loved, a different favorite anime. I've never met somebody in real life who doesn't watch anime.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It was crazy.
I'm not convinced they exist.
They don't exist.
Yeah, I think everybody's watching anime.
Everybody watches anime. Every single person alive.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what we're gonna do
Answer emails?
right this second? No, Brad.
Oh.
Brad, you're getting far ahead of the curve.
How far is the curve? We gotta be curving around the corner.
It's the HOTTAKE curve!
yeah!
How could you forget?
Oh, I haven't been on this show for like a month.
Has it been that long?
I was on the
Probably.
last two because I was like on 3 in a row before.
Do you know how you succeed in life? Mentally, you're on frame trap every day, baby.
Oh.
I kind of am. Kind of am.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear
When
you.
you're friends with Ben Moore and Huber, you're kind of
You're kind of on frame trap every day.
Yeah.
Basically,
yeah.
I'll
always.
talk all day long.
I think that is both accurate and kind of cool and like slightly depressing.
I'm hearing hot takes all the time.
Yeah.
My whole life is
Yeah.
Yeah. My whole life is frame trap in a lot of ways. This is the frame trap before E3,
Ooh.
and so we're legally obligated by Hogue Law and the powers that be. No, I'm just kidding. We're not legally obligated by Hogue Law, but we're legally obligated to make it about E3 because E3 is super fucking exciting.
Yeah, man.
And I don't care. I want to talk about E3.
Yeah.
I want to do stuff with E3. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to build something that I have dubbed the Hyped Tower.
Okay.
Okay. I've got a list of games here with the write-ins from Ian and Brad that they gave me before the show. I think we've got a list of 30 games. And what we're going to do is we're going to divide them up, and we're going to have different
Categories?
tiers, essentially. So it's going to get smaller and smaller as it goes on. So at the bottom, we're going to have 15, okay? And then past that, we're going to have 8. And then we're going to have 4. And then we're going to have 3. Okay? And so the way that we're going to divide these floors up of the tower is, that's 30, right? So
I'm like trying to do the math. I'm
8,
like, what?
23,
11,
27,
15,
30.
yeah.
Yes, that's 30. We can do very basic math. Thank you, loyal viewers.
Thank you for being a patron.
The bottom floor is going to be the games that we're not saying are going to be bad, but based on the information that we have right now and based on what the games are, they're not making a splash at E3.
Okay.
But they
gonna
make
be
a foundation of hype.
We're going to make a foundation. They need to be there. They're propping up other
Everybody's
things.
in Hype Tower.
Right. Everybody's in Hype
There's
Tower.
just
Yeah.
multiple floors.
It's an honor to be. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
But you're
Just happy to be here.
you're in the back. These are what I mean by this is these are the games that we're absolutely not going to be talking about once the show is over. These are not the trailers or the experiences that
Okay.
we're going to remember.
Gotcha.
Or good. And what I mean by
Brutal.
that is that's amongst us three.
Okay.
It could be different. Your hype tower could be different than our hype tower.
Huber's hype tower, where all of them is just the top floor.
Yeah, Huber's hype tower is
It's
like
just one.
the Tower of Babylon.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just a bunch of empty floors and then like 700 things on the top
Yeah.
floor
Yeah.
crammed together, and they're all like, "How did we get here?"
Next floor, we predict mixed results. For some people, it's going to be a really big deal. For others, it's not. It's going to be. It might as well be on the bottom floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So some splash, but a minor one.
your Devil May Cry 4s,
You Devil May Cry 5s.
whatever.
Yeah, watch your tongue. I'm kidding. Past that, these are the games that are in a really good spot where they'll be a big deal to pretty much everybody. People are going to be happy about them. But what's different between this and the top floor is there aren't going to be that many people that love them to the core. You know, where
But wait, are we thinking of everyone or just the three of us?
we're thinking of just the three of us, but I'm trying to generally describe it and then
okay.
apply that to you.
Okay.
Where you think it's going to be a big deal and you're going to feel good about it, but you're not going to shed tears over it. The final, the top, the kings and queens and princes of the Hype Tower are your Shenmue 3s, where you hypothetically...
Your own Shenmue.
Your
3.
own
Yeah,
Shenmue
yeah.
3s,
'Cause
where
for
you're...
me, Shenmue 3, yeah.
I'm talking about the games that at least give you like a huge, giant smile that you're screaming about.
It's
that
the Shadows Die Twice floor.
that might be a game that might be in there.
Spoiler alert.
Now, the thing is, the games that we added, I knew that we added Shadows Die Twice, and then what were the other two that I don't have on my list?
But you had Dragon Quest 11 on there.
Dragon Quest 11 is already on
You
there.
got
Okay,
Ghost of
excellent.
Tsushima? Sure?
Yes, I
Yes,
got
you
Ghost of
got
Tsushima,
that.
but there were three that we said before the show that I can't
I don't
remember.
remember. I thought you wrote them
But
down.
that was a long time ago.
I thought I
man.
wrote them down too.
Yeah, now I don't know.
All right. Well, maybe we'll go through the
We'll
list
think
that I
about it.
have,
We'll think about him.
and then anything. Obviously,
Cyberpunk.
I actually don't have Cyberpunk on there.
Slap it on the loose.
I don't know why that isn't on there. There's going to be some embarrassing things that I didn't include.
We are
because
but humans.
We are but humans. But Cyberpunk should totally be on there, and this
Yes.
is nonsense. But there are things that I didn't include. Like, I didn't include Shenmue 3 because they're like, hey, we're delaying this.
Right.
There were certain things that I didn't include for reasons.
Red Dead
for real
Redemption
reasons.
2 on there.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is not on there. How is it not on there? I looked on an IGN list, and so I'm going to blame IGN.
Well, because like they're like squirrely about E3. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not there.
yeah,
like,
no,
I
Red
don't
Dead
know.
Redemption 2 absolutely has to be on there.
Yes. it
But
must.
I also tried to think of us with this list too, and so things that I didn't think would generate a lot of conversation or wouldn't even have a lot of animosity I didn't include.
Yeah.
But like Spider-Man has to be on there, right? And Spider-Man isn't. No, Spider-Man is on there. Okay, let's read the list, and any glaring omissions we'll include.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Devil May Cry 5.
Are we putting them on floor?
No. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
saying what they are.
Oh, you're just okay.
Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. And so some of these things have not been officially announced, but the rumors are strong enough that I
Does
include
that
them
count
on
as
the
one
list.
game or two?
One game.
Okay.
Just one game. Metroid Prime 4. Days Gone. Crackdown 3. Battlefield 5. Anthem. Death Stranding. Beyond Good and Evil 2. Fire Emblem Switch. Shin Megami Tensei 5. Ghosts of Tsushima. Kingdom Hearts 3. The Last of Us Part 2. Rage 2. Spider-Man. Super Smash Bros. Dragon Quest 11. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Gears of War 5, Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Octopath Traveler, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Splinter Cell, Halo, The Division 2, Shadows Die Twice, Cyberpunk, Red Dead Redemption 2, Cyberpunk 2077, Red Dead
I
Redemption
can never
2.
remember what year it is.
You can go ahead and just put Shadows Die Twice at the top floor.
Yeah, just slap that.
Were there
puppy
any
on the
glaring omissions? Anything that we didn't include?
I can't think
Yeah,
of anything
Like I
right
didn't
now.
include Borderlands 3 because they said like, hey, we're
Yeah,
not.
that's not going to be there.
top. Also,
doing
like
that.
whatever.
So do we want to decide that? Do we want to go top to bottom or bottom to the
just
top?
I think we should just go whenever we feel like.
Okay, so you're saying
I
Shadows.
say go down the list and we'll try to put them on a floor.
Okay.
So here's another thing, another wrinkle that I want to throw into this hype tower. And Final Fantasy VII Remake is a good example. Where like I'm not convinced we're going to see anything
too.
from Final Fantasy
Right.
VII
I'm
Remake,
not.
which would automatically put it on the bottom floor. Even though if we did, it might be at the top.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
based on
it'd be at the top for me, baby.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But based on the current information that we have,
I don't think we're seeing it.
I think Final Fantasy VII Remake is at
It's
the
not
bottom.
even in the building.
Okay.
It's in a different town.
So I'm gonna make 3 columns here, and at the top we've got Shadows Die Twice, and I think we all feel very good about
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Slap that puppy right up there.
Okay.
It's like standing on the roof.
And then we've got the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th floors. I'm gonna put Final Fantasy VII Remake on the 4th floor, the bottom.
Just because it won't be there.
because we don't. I don't think it's gonna be there.
It will not be there.
Sure.
Okay.
If we knew it was going to be there, though, it'd be
Yes,
higher.
I would make it a huge case for that to be on the top.
All right. I'm gonna put Rage 2 on the 3rd floor. Not quite the bottom, but I'm gonna put it on the 3rd floor because I think they're gonna show a lot of it, and I think it's gonna be generally exciting and generally interesting. But I don't know if it's gonna blow a huge number of people away.
I will go with 3rd floor also. I think that's an appropriate position.
Do you think 3rd or 4th?
I'd say 4th, but you can put it on 3rd.
Okay. Now keep in mind we've only got 8 spots.
I know, that's why I would say 4th.
Well,
Okay.
if it gets
We can move
crowded,
things
we can
around.
move them around.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are other things that we've got to put on the 4th floor, and there's one that jumps out to me. It's not that I
Can we put this like over here in the middle?
Yes, absolutely we can.
Yeah.
So we'll try to get as much of this list in as possible. I have no problem with it, and I'll probably play the sequel, but I'm not super hot on the Division 2.
Neither am I.
And I don't think you
Put
guys
it on the-
are.
Put it on the
Basement.
4th floor.
Okay,
Throw Days
Division
Gone in
2.
the basement,
Yeah.
too.
You want to put Days Gone in the basement, Brad? I think Days
No.
Gone is going to surprise people.
I want to put it on the 3rd floor.
All right, 3rd floor, sure.
Days Gone for the 3rd floor. We got 6 spots left. I want to
Metroid-
make an argument for putting Devil May Cry 5 on the top floor.
The top.
It's funny because I see how excited you guys are, and I'm like lukewarm.
On Ben Moore's top floor, Devil May Cry 5 is there.
It's on
without
Ben
a
Moore's
doubt.
top floor. It's close to the top floor for me. I don't know if it's top floor for me. Let's put it on the top floor for now.
Sure.
Let's put it there for now. I could totally see a case for it being there.
A thing that I'm realizing is that we didn't.
We didn't add the other numbers to the...
Yeah. So we'll keep
just
making
do
your
our-
own list.
We'll just do our best.
So it's
Yeah.
really 33, not 30?
No, I think it's 30 because we had 27 before, and then we added Shadows Die Twice, Cyberpunk, and Red Dead Redemption 2. So we're exactly at 30.
Okay.
So this is correct.
Okay.
Yes, this is correct. Okay. Yes, because 15 and 15. All right, so we're not ready to put Devil May Cry 5 on the top floor yet.
I think you can hold it there.
Let me make an argument for it, okay?
Okay.
Except for Devil May Cry 2, Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 3, and Devil May Cry 4 are all deeply beloved games, like kind
Yes.
of pioneers and really like just when you think of character action games, you think of Devil May Cry. That's how influential they are. It's been since 2008 since Devil May Cry 4. So it coming out 10 years later in 2018, even if you don't care, you don't think it's that cool, like generally in a huge sense, it coming back in a big way from Capcom in the classic Devil May Cry 5 style is huge.
Yes.
Like that's gonna make waves.
What's the third one then on the Metroid Prime 4 on the top?
I don't know. I'm just making a case for it. I'm not gonna put it there yet because I think there are other
Okay,
ones
well,
that we
let's
have to
keep
go.
it like could be a resident there.
Yeah, I'm putting it between the top floor and the second
Okay.
floor. All right.
I'm thinking the easiest thing might be to try to throw in the basement.
Yeah, I'm thinking that too. I think amongst this group, even though it's probably third floor for me, I think amongst this group, Gears of War 5 is fourth floor.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless I
Or
see
Gears of War
something,
5,
unless
sorry.
I see something that like really like blows me away with it, yeah.
I think you could put Tomb Raider there too.
Okay.
Splinter Cell.
No. I would argue that Splinter Cell is like second floor.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't have any attachment to it.
Yeah, what
So I don't know.
about it? Is it like a
Wasn't
reboot
the
or
last
something?
one not
Like
great?
The Siege or whatever?
Blacklist? No, people really like. I didn't play Blacklist, but people really like Blacklist.
Okay.
And I think it falls into kind of a Devil May Cry territory for me, where it's been away for a long time. And I actually think Ubisoft has been doing pretty well with their
Don't they-
games recently, just in general.
I mean, Division 2 is a Ubisoft thing. And that's on the fourth floor.
Yeah, But I
I'm
feel like
pretty
I've
shocked they're
enjoyed.
making a Division 2.
I feel like I've enjoyed Splinter Cell collectively
Okay.
more than I enjoyed the Division.
Okay, just put it there for now then.
Second floor.
Second seems
Oh.
extreme.
We'll potentially put it on the third floor at the least.
Third
It's not-
floor.
I
Third
feel
floor.
more
Isn't the
comfortable with
definition of third floor what the situation with Splinter Cell is? Like you care and we don't.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
I
that's
think it's
what
a
the
fair
third
argument.
floor-
Okay, that's
yeah.
third
If you
floor.
guys don't care
I
about
don't
it,
don't
care
care.
at all.
okay, when we're putting it on the
That
third
game
floor.
could not exist and it wouldn't change my
I
life.
think if
in
you
any way.
feel that passionately about not caring about it, by the rules of this game, it has to be third floor.
yeah.
We need guidelines.
Halo
so Shadow of
is
the
an
Tomb Raider's
interesting one.
fourth floor.
Is Halo's just rumored?
So, if we had more to go on for Halo, I would argue that it would be second floor.
Right,
But
but I
we
think
have
it's a
nothing
Final
to go
Fantasy
on.
VII situation
Yeah,
where we
I
just
think-
don't know enough.
I think it's just such an unknown, and what we're going to see may not be substantial at all,
Yeah.
that I think Halo is fourth floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, if they show anything, I could just see, like, a logo.
We've got 5 on the fourth floor, 3 on the third floor, and 1 in the top floor.
Way to go.
Battlefield 5 to me is like one of those where I'm like certain it'll be good,
Yeah.
but I'm not like hyped about it. Just 'cause it's such a mainstay to me. I'm like, hey, there's a really solid thing that happens.
To add on to that, Ian, I am almost certain that I will enjoy Battlefield 5 as I enjoy most of the Battlefield
Yes.
games.
Right.
But I think it'll be pretty boring at E3.
Right. It's one of those things that you don't need to know anything about it in my
Like-
like for me anyway.
We've seen them present Battlefield games so many times,
Yeah.
and it's fucking EA, so I feel like you can kind of
Yeah.
guarantee you know how they're going to... Like, it's just not going to be that exciting
Yeah.
at E3.
There'll be some trailers and then like a bunch of Snoop Dogs that play it against each other.
All right, Battlefield 5 going on the fourth floor. Brad, do you agree with that?
I'm with you, Ben, on
Okay.
it. Like, I like Battlefield, but
Right.
The weird ones to me are things like, I mean, like Death Stranding, we know we're gonna get a crazy ass short film. Beyond Good and Evil 2, I think will either completely underwhelm or really surprise.
That to me seems like a third floor.
or it just won't even be there.
Yeah, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yeah.
I think, well, because like my argument for Devil May Cry 5 is like, if it is there, I think it is going to be huge, and I agree with you with Beyond Good and Evil 2, where it's like, if it is there, it could go one way or another, and I
Right.
think that's third floor.
Okay.
Sure. Or is that second floor?
We have nothing in second floor.
Second floor. Clear
But-
me up on second floor again.
Okay, so second floor is where we all of us, and we think just in general, people are going to feel really good about it, but
Yeah.
it's not like when Shadows Die Twice
Right.
it comes on the
We're
screen.
gonna pass out.
Yeah, right. So it's I feel really great about this, but it is not like a game that I would die for.
So like Smash Bros would be second floor. Just
I think
like,
Smash Bros is the ideal candidate for second
I
floor.
also-
because
Okay.
everyone's like solid on it, but like whatever.
Like I'm excited for Smash Brothers by a lot, but it is not
Yeah.
like
right.
I'm going to cry.
I feel the
for
same
it.
about Spider-Man. Like, I mean, to me, I care less about
So
Spider-Man
there's
than
another
Jones,
thing-
and Bossman inexplicably, but
There's another thing that I want to talk about, and I think Octopath Traveler suffers from this as well. And I think actually Dragon Quest XI suffers from this. Proximity to release.
Yes.
I think a lot of the
Close.
excitement for E3 is amplified by, whoa, I didn't expect this, or man, we're going to get that next year.
Right.
I think distance is important, and when it's like, this looks great, but I'm going to be playing Octopath in a month. I just think
Yeah.
it's inherently, makes the E3-ness of it a little less exciting.
I hear you.
sure, because
it's sure.
not. Yeah.
It's not surprising, and we're close enough to release that we've already seen a lot of it.
Right.
The thing I'll give the
So that's a
edge
third floor or
to
fourth
Beyond
floor?
Good and Evil 2 is like we've never seen like the game being
Game
played.
at all. Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's really exciting to see how the game is actually played.
Yeah, I'm just saying we've only got 4 spots on the second
Correct.
floor.
I'm not like I haven't even played the first Beyond Good and Evil, so I have no attachment to it.
Yeah. Same.
So
I
yeah,
just loved that trailer.
like I liked the trailer. I didn't love it as much as everyone else though.
So the thing for me, I'm gonna make a case for Cyberpunk being second floor.
I am way
Yeah.
more excited for
Yes.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk second floor for
That's
sure.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, because like I am jazzed about it and very sure it'll be good.
I think everyone is excited for Cyberpunk. I think we know it's gonna be there, and I think just the general perception of CD Projekt Red coming out with this game is so exciting that like it's gonna be like across the board. Like it's hard to imagine a situation where Cyberpunk isn't a huge win at E3.
Yeah.
That might even potentially be first floor, but we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
Crackdown 3 fourth floor.
Dude, yeah. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Uh,
That serves the problem of too many E3s.
Like, too many E3s.
Yeah.
It's just-
Yeah.
Anthem, I feel like third floor?
I think Anthem is a potential third floor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's enough questions that need to be answered that Anthem is a third floor.
Yeah. Death Stranding feeling second floor just because we know it's going to be like bonkers and fun to watch, but like we're not going to really probably learn anything.
That's the thing. That's where I'm at with Death Stranding. Death Stranding is always exciting, and those trailers are super entertaining, at least to me.
Yeah.
My problem with Death Stranding is, and I think we're reaching a point with this game where it's like, you gotta show me what the game is like,
gotta
man.
show us.
Like you gotta.
We've had three.
You gotta cash those
three
checks.
like crazy short films. And
Right.
now it's time.
And so if we just get like more of the normal Death Stranding craziness, I'm not in on that. Like I'll be in on
Like
some
the trailer
level.
will be cool, but
So
That's what I mean is like whatever they show, it's gonna be cool.
I'm not ready to place Death Stranding yet because
Alright,
I'm
let's
not.
hold off.
When you say like second floor, I'm not like, oh yeah, absolutely.
Ghost of Tsushima second floor.
Ghost of Tsushima, man, might
Or is
be
that
like
first
first.
that's
floor
like
for
first
me.
or second for me right now.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
first
know.
or second for me.
I'm thinking. I mean, yeah.
I'm gonna put it right by Devil May Cry 5.
Okay.
Last of Us Part 2 is second floor just because to me, because like obviously the trailer is gonna blow everyone away, but like that's what you expect,
Yeah, I
and
also
like everyone
think,
seems hyped on it.
I also think for me, and you can call bullshit on this because I think you can make an argument the opposite way too. Ghost of Tsushima is a little bit more exciting to me because it's a brand new thing,
Yeah.
and I don't know exactly
Same.
what it's going to be. And I also really believe in Sucker Punch. I think they
Yes.
have a good track record.
Yes.
Whereas like Last of Us Part 2, I know is going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I adore The Last of Us, even though I know you
So is that a
don't.
third floor thing then?
No, I think it's second. I think it's 2nd
I'm
floor.
excited for 2.
Okay. I think The Last of Us, I think you can feel good enough about the quality of The Last of Us Part
Yeah.
2 that it's really earning its
I'd say
at least.
Tsushima top floor then. If that's the logic, I think. Tsushima.
You want to put it on top
Yeah.
floor? Okay.
Yeah. Very curious about that game.
We have one more spot open on the
Okay.
top floor.
Is it Metroid Prime 4?
Maybe.
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 Let's talk about Pokemon. Where do you place Pokemon? So to contextualize this is apparently a remake of the first generation games. You're going to be in Kanto again, and the rumor is that
Wait,
they're
it's a
going to
remake?
Yes.
Oh, fourth floor.
No way. I think by default, it being the first Pokemon game on Switch, it's like not forgettable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think
Third-
at least third floor.
Yeah. I mean, I'll play it.
For me, it's second floor, but
Yeah,
like you
I'll
know.
see it. I think third floor's fine with me.
Okay.
To me, because it's such a shoe-in
I
that
probably
it's
said
like,
like 10 things or second floor.
if they show anything at all, it's like
my
great.
expectations with it, Ben, are honestly pretty low because I don't think it'll be the production value I want from a Pokemon game. Where I want like real deal, big open world Pokemon game. I could see it looking like better than a DS version, but it'll be like that kind of style. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it has a huge chance to underwhelm.
Exodus fourth floor, Metro.
Fourth floor or third floor? I think there's enough. I care about Metro enough that I'm not willing to banish it to the fourth floor.
So wait. I'm a little confused. Is fourth floor like we don't give a shit at all?
No,
I
it's,
thought fourth floor was like hype, but whatever.
yeah. I think underwhelming presence at E3 for many different reasons. Like,
I'm just saying numbers wise, we got to put something on the fourth floor.
I know. So the thing is I'm willing to make like a sacrifice here. I think
Because to me, like Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, like they're gonna show well, but
Yeah.
they're just gonna give us what we expect.
mean, you
so
can-
like Dragon Quest XI is the number one game I want right now,
Mm-hmm.
but because it's been out in Japan for so long and because we know we're getting it soon, I don't think it's going to make waves at E3, which therefore puts it on the fourth floor for me.
I hear
yeah,
you.
yeah, I think that makes sense.
I say you could put Shadow of the Tomb Raider on the fourth floor right now.
Already
too.
I
did
think we
that.
already
Okay.
did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say Exodus and Ori on fourth floor, not because I think they're bad, but just because I think that they're gonna be what we expect to see.
I just don't have
I
context.
think Ori
for
is
any of them.
so good.
I haven't
Yeah,
played
Ori's
them.
amazing, and like that's what we expect.
Sure.
You know what that trailer will be, or they'll play it, but like either way, you're like, yeah, it looks good, Right?
I mean, it's hard to disagree with you.
and we just have to put 15 things on there.
It's
Like the math doesn't work out.
It's hard to disagree with you.
We can't
I
love
think
everything.
I think Octopath is fourth floor for
Yes.
reasons
Oh,
that I've already
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
articulated, despite it being another game that I'm personally very excited for.
Yeah, of course.
I think Kingdom Hearts 3 might actually be our final second
Floor.
floor thing, and here's why I think that.
Okay.
Okay, because we've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3 for a long time, and previews coming out of it have been really exciting, and so I think there's so much that they can show us that will feel fantastic, where it's like, we know this is good, and they're hitting all the right notes, and it's still exciting because it's been so long. Like, it's just kind of this perfect concoction of E3, and it's still potentially far enough out that it's really exciting. And there's still so much we could learn. Like, what are the new worlds going to be?
Yeah.
I think it's a second floor candidate.
I mean, you guys are passionate enough about it.
Like, I think it's second or third floor.
To me, to me, I would say third floor because like he loves it to death, and I never want to see it. So it's like, you know,
I'm putting it in between right now based on what you just
Yeah,
said.
for sure. It's like I've played it, so I know kind of like the feel of it and everything like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
New Worlds will be exciting.
I think Spider-Man is going to be really good, but I feel like it's third floor because you know, it's kind of already had its big unveiling and it's coming out relatively soon. And I think amongst the three of us, it's not fighting for that top spot.
No.
yeah.
Third floor?
Like I'm not even
floor.
guaranteed to play it probably.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's close.
What else do we have here?
We haven't placed Metroid Prime 4 or Red Dead Redemption 2.
I kind of want to knock out the rest of these
Okay.
bottom ones.
How many slots left on fourth floor do we have?
We have 4 spots left. Things that we haven't placed Days Gone. I
thought we put that on
Oh, we
3.
put that on the third floor. Yeah, we did. Sorry. We did put that on
Slap
third floor.
that puppy in 4, baby.
I guess they kind of had their blowout out already, right?
They had a big Game Informer thing.
And then I'd say
Amongst
put
the stiff competition, I think we moved Days Gone to fourth floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means we have 3 spots left.
Okay.
Does that put... I know you guys love Smash Bros.
Yeah,
Have we
Smash Bros.
placed
is
that yet?
second floor right now.
Oh, yeah.
And we can move things around.
What have we not...
We haven't... Things that I think could be potential fourth floor candidates is...
I mean, I know you love Shin Megami Tensei, but like, speaking like raw numbers of human beings on the planet, most people don't.
Well, it's us that we're primarily concerned
Right.
with. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is super exciting for me. The thing that is filling me with doubt is that I don't necessarily think we're going to see anything substantial at E3. And we don't know that much going into it.
Yeah.
And so those 2 factors are kind of working against it.
Yeah.
I still kind of want to put it on third floor, but I'm willing to cede it.
I mean, like,
to
I'm not
fourth.
sure either of us would play it.
I mean, I think it looks cool. I just don't know if I'll get around to playing it.
Yeah.
I think so. I want to put Fire Emblem at least on third floor.
Okay.
Because I think they are. I'm very convinced that they are going to show it. I'm very convinced that they're going to show a lot of it, and I'm very convinced that it's going to be good. Even though I don't think you guys especially care about it.
I liked Fire Emblem.
I'm interested in
the
it.
past, yeah. Put it
So
on 3.
third floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that full then? No, we have.
No, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 2
2
more
slots
spots open for third floor. 4. 2 more spots open on fourth. So 2 on third and fourth.
So we can't forget Red Dead Redemption 2.
So I'm going to be there probably.
I don't even think Red Dead Redemption
I don't
is
think
going
it's
to
gonna
be
be
at
there.
E3 in a significant way.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
they're never usually
maybe
there.
there's a trailer.
And I say that just because of the history of Rockstar.
Yes,
Now,
right.
Brandon, on the other hand, thinks that they totally could be.
Yeah.
I
If
don't
we
know.
see
And
the
the
same
thing-
trailer in Sony and Microsoft for Red Dead, that's a point against.
The thing that's hard is I believe in the quality of Red Dead Redemption 2 so much that if it is there, I think it's going to be excellent. And so that makes it hard for me to put it on the fourth floor.
I just
Right.
don't think it'll be there though.
I'm going to put it on third floor. I do not feel comfortable enough
right.
to put it on
All
fourth,
right,
man.
let's put on third floor.
This is 1 slot on third, 2 on fourth. Where'd
1
we
spot
put,
on third, 2 on fourth.
Where'd we put Dragon Quest?
Put Dragon Quest on fourth.
Yeah.
Rage 2's on fourth.
Third.
Rage 2 is on third.
Third.
All right, guys.
What have we not placed? I feel like we've placed everything.
So another thing that we have not placed
Does the
is...
math check out?
All right, so we're just going to go through, and I think a more efficient way is to say whether we've placed it or not. Devil May Cry 5 is currently between the top and the second. Okay. Pokemon, I actually did not write down. I think we've... Oh, Pokemon is on third. Okay.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 4 has not been placed.
I would
Wait.
place.
This is the remake one, the Eevee
The remake.
Pichu?
Yes.
Oh, that's the name for it? The rumored name?
The rumored name is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu. There are going to
Why?
be 2 versions, an Eevee version and a Pikachu version.
But why? I don't understand that.
What do you mean?
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I would put Devil May Cry on second and Prime 4 on first.
That means Ghost of Tsushima automatically goes to third.
Third?
Or no, Ghost of Tsushima is already placed on first.
Yeah.
Never mind. So you think Metroid Prime 4 is top?
For me.
Okay. That means top is full.
Oh, man, it's the same argument with Metroid and Devil May Cry for me, because they've both been gone for so long, and we don't know what any of them look like, actually.
I just have more confidence. If Itsuno is directing Devil May Cry 5, I have more faith in that
That'll
than
be
I do.
better.
Yeah, I have more faith that it'll be better. However, the thing that's working against us is Ian doesn't care at all about Devil May Cry 5,
Right.
and we all
Right.
care a lot about Metroid Prime 4.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept this.
So, like, yeah, if we're going with, like,
This is
who
not a
cares the
personal
most-
hype tower.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that means both the second and first floors are full, which would bump Kingdom Hearts 3 down to the third floor.
That's okay.
That makes sense
That's fine.
to me.
Okay, so that means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means third floor is full, which
Okay.
means anything that we haven't placed immediately goes on fourth
So
floor.
that means Death Stranding is on fourth floor.
It means Death Stranding is on fourth
See
floor.
ya.
We can
Yeah.
we can
I mean, that kind of makes sense in a weird way, because it's, like, so theoretical that it's like, all right, we're used to it, you know? And that means Beyond Good and Evil's on fourth?
Yep,
Oh, jeez.
and that's it.
This is a rough list.
That's it.
This is a hard game.
Yeah, I don't like this game.
So what we're gonna do is this is not final yet. This is what we've
Okay.
written down so far. Okay, and I'm gonna check the math right now and make sure we're good. So on fourth floor, there's supposed to be 15 games.
Okay.
We, Ben Moore, Bradley Ellis, and Ian Hink building the hype tower on fourth floor have put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games. On third floor, we've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. On second, 1, 2, 3, 4. And on third, we've got 3. Now I'm going to go. This is your last chance to switch things around or make a case on anything that seems disgustingly out of place to you. Okay? Fourth floor, Final Fantasy VII Remake, The Division 2, Gears of War 5, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Halo, Battlefield 5, Crackdown 3, Dragon Quest XI, Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Octopath Traveler, Days Gone, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Death Stranding, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Those last two are pretty intense, but okay.
I'm going to make a call right now. I'm going to switch Rage 2 and either one of the
That's what
ones
I
at
was
the
just
bottom.
going to say. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Death Stranding.
You want it to be Death Stranding?
Yeah.
I want it to be Death Stranding.
Yeah. Do it.
That's actually what I was going to say.
All right, so we've had a promotion. Death Stranding is moving to the third floor, and Rage 2 is
Demoted.
being demoted to the
Demoted.
fourth floor. Why did we make that call?
I think Death Stranding has more interesting things in me to show.
More
More
potential to
potential.
wow.
More
More
potential
potential
wow
wow.
us. Like, we saw the gameplay trailer of Rage already.
I know I fought for it. No, actually, I think it's right. Okay, so at the top of the third floor,
I would swap it with Beyond Good and Evil.
we've got Splinter Cell, Anthem, Pokemon, Spider-Man, Fire Emblem, Red Dead, Kingdom Hearts 3, Death Stranding. You were saying swap Splinter Cell with Beyond Good and Evil? I'm going to make a case and say swap Anthem with Beyond Good and Evil 2 as a substitute
Okay.
instead.
I'm more interested in the potential of Anthem than Splinter Cell.
I'm more interested in the potential of Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell is going to be what it's going to be. Anthem to me is like, is this the new
See, I
Mass
completely
Effect?
disagree.
Is this the new Destiny? Is this a new, what is it?
I think Anthem has more of a potential to be this is what it's going to be, where it's a loot game with your friends that's mediocre and forgotten about in a year. Whereas Splinter Cell, it's like, hey, you have this storied franchise. It's exciting that it's coming back. It could be a really cool new entry depending on the direction that they take it. So, Brad, it comes down to you.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same about both of them. I think they're just kind of both going to be what we think.
Do you think
The only
we
thing
should
I will
swap?
give Anthem the edge on is it's new. That's the only thing I'll give it to, is that it's new.
I know some things about Anthem, so
What? You got scoops, bro?
This is a bullshit card. Damn it.
You got scoops, bro?
I mean, it's just like I don't remember what's public and what's not. So
Sure, I understand
Yeah,
that
this
you're trying to be careful, but it just makes it hard for us.
Yeah.
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 And I mean, it's nothing big.
And when I say bullshit, Ian, I'm not mad at you.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
mad
yeah.
that I don't know.
It's nothing big. It's
'Kay.
just, yeah. I think I might know more of what it is.
I'll do. I really believe in Splinter Cell, man.
Was there something
I
else
do.
in the third
You can bump
list?
Anthem. Bump Anthem.
If you're super confident in
I mean, you seem
Splinter
very
Cell,
intense about Splinter Cell, so I say swap Anthem
No,
with
but-
Beyond Good and Evil.
Olive Branch. What about we switch Spider-Man and Beyond Good and Evil 2?
Sure.
And what I say is I'm very convinced that Spider-Man 2 is going to be a great game. I really believe it, but I don't know if it's going to be that exciting at E3.
Sure.
Are you
Okay.
Are you
I
okay
mean,
with
to me,
this?
it's like they're going to show a trailer and gameplay, and
I
it'll
just
be
feel like
fine.
I'm worried that, especially this close to release, that maybe Spider-Man has had its moment at E3.
Yeah.
all right.
And Beyond Good and Evil is such a potential surprise that I think they move tier lists for me. Man, this feels wrong. I'm like mad. If you're mad at us right now, like I'm mad at us right now.
You made us do this.
I did. It's fun, man. You gotta make hard decisions. Gotta make choices. B, G, and E2. All right, so I'm gonna read the third tier. I'm gonna read the fourth and third tier one more time to make sure. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Fourth Floor, Division 2, Gears of War 5, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Halo, Battlefield 5, Crackdown 3, Dragon Quest 11, Metro Exodus, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Octopath Traveler, Days Gone, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Spider-Man, and Rage 2.
Seems fine.
Third Floor, Splinter Cell, Anthem, Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Red Dead, Jesus, Red Dead being there feels wrong. Red Dead, Kingdom Hearts 3, Death Stranding, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
This is about the E3 presentation.
I know,
of the game,
I know,
not the
I know.
game.
Yeah.
Second Floor, Smash Brothers, Cyberpunk, The Last of Us Part 2, Devil May Cry 5.
I mean, I would swap Red Dead and Smash, but I don't like Smash, so.
How do you feel about this call from me?
It's an interesting call. I like Smash. I like Red Dead. What's gonna have the better debut though?
I think Smash
will have a better show.
Here's what I'm going to say. I think Smash is better at E3 because Red Dead is like a story-driven game where you're like you can't give that much away. There's going to be cool gameplay stuff, but like
You're right,
Smash,
you're right.
Smash is built-in hype. When
You're
it's
right.
like, oh,
Smash
here's
is
this
built
huge.
in- you're
Smash
right.
is built-in
Yeah, yeah.
hype.
Smash is built in.
I mean,
hype.
like, Smash shows, like, one out-of-the-wall character, and it's
Right,
already,
and it's-
like, the craziest
And it's
show.
crazy
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
fun and it's built
Yeah,
for
yeah,
like
E3.
when
you're
they
right,
show
you're right, you're right,
when
you're
like Robo is gonna show up in Smash, we're
Okay.
gonna lose our mind.
Here is the top floor.
Unless they put Snake in Red Dead 2, then I'm just like, whoa.
Right. Top floor, Shadows Die Twice, Ghost of
Easy.
Tsushima,
Easy.
Metroid Prime 4.
Lock it in.
Yeah. That's the tower, baby.
I'd like to make a case
For
of
Devil May Cry?
swapping, of putting Devil May Cry on the top floor.
It's swapping out what?
I'm willing to swap Ghost of Tsushima or Metroid Prime 4.
I care much more about Metroid Prime 4 than Ghost of Tsushima.
I just care. I just really think Devil May Cry 5 deserves a top
All right.
spot.
Put Ghost of Tsushima on the second floor.
Are you okay with this, Brad?
No, I'm not okay with any of these, but it's like we gotta make choices.
Okay.
I mean, if we're doing the arithmetic we did before, because I don't care about DMC, it would stay on second. Right?
Yes, but I also think there's a factor of one of us caring so much.
I think we all care about Ghosts and Metroid.
We do.
You know?
All right.
It's like I care about Devil May
You
Cry
know what,
too.
Ian? I think that was a sensible and
That's a
reasonable
sensible,
argument
yeah.
that didn't resort to cheap tactics.
I mean, I'm just saying,
fair
like,
play.
if you're feeling like hype things, you
Because
know,
if I was playing with other allies, we would have resorted to the cheap tactics by now. And we didn't do that. We
Would have
kept it
gotten ugly,
clean.
probably.
yeah,
All right, I'm not going to read the third and fourth floor tiers again because we've done that enough. But I'm
Yeah.
going to do the top floor, the games that will make us feel like we want to cry, even if we don't cry. We'll just be so excited. We can't wait for these games. They're the stars in our sky. Top floor, Shadows Die Twice, Metroid Prime 4, Ghost of Tsushima. Second floor, Smash Brothers, Cyberpunk 2077, Last of Us Part 2, Devil May Cry 5.
yeah. I'm real hyped for Cyberpunk, but yeah.
That was
Also,
our
I don't
time
know
of
that
fame.
much about Anthem, so don't come at me.
That was rough, dude.
That was rough. It was fun though. Did you guys
It
have
was
fun?
fun, but rough.
I don't think Ian had a good time.
Oh, I had a great time.
He had a great time.
I'm just starving.
I'm starving too. All right, we're gonna quickly go through emails then. And I have to say, like, I say this a lot, but like, I really appreciate and I want to encourage. A lot of people have been sending in really thoughtful emails. Like, they're really reaching and trying to come up with interesting things for us to talk about, and I super appreciate that.
Great.
And speaking of that, our first thoughtful email comes in, and sometimes they're pushing us. It's okay to push us. It's okay to strongly disagree with us. Sometimes that makes for the best conversations. The first email comes in from, I'm going to butcher this name, Oliviera. That's how you pronounce that.
Or Oliveira.
Oliveira. You're better at pronunciations than I am.
Sometimes it's a guess, you know.
Yeah. Oliveira. Is Kojima still that genius? I like this a lot. Sympathizing with Ben's wish to replay all Metal Gear games during a Tabletop Escapades episode, I began my journey. At the end of this journey, what I met with was a less creative Kojima, while being a name much more related to the adjective genius today than ever before. All Metal Gear Solid titles are marvelous games in the technical aspect, but only half of them have what I'll call a soul. Metal Gear Solid 1 to 3 are absolute masterpieces with a theme and a soul that carries those games from beginning to end. MGS 4 and 5 lack this passion that prior MGS games transmits when played. The buzz around Death Stranding is overly done by the game's press with the smallest move that Kojima makes. Having Norman Reedus and Mikkelsen at my eyes looks more of a choice by Kojima because he watched the shows with these actors and thought they were cool and wanted these cool actors in the game. And not because the characters were made with them in mind, the actors in mind. The buzz around the revelation of these actors is overdone by the media without any deliberation and creates a domino effect where only meaningless, energetic screams and reactions that bring in the clicks get repeated. This not only hurts the media itself, but I see an inflated ego by Kojima in recent years. Why we all got on Kojima's side when he left Konami, when we do not know the full story. Maybe Kojima thought of himself as the king of the block, and the company wanted more power. And he wanted more power than was possible at his position. The reasons behind the split we will probably never know, and we took a side at the same time. Okay, so I did trim out parts of that email because it is quite long. Not because I didn't think it was a good question, because I thought it was a great question, and I want us to answer it. Do you think what he's saying is right, that just because Kojima's name is attached to it, we're overhyping Death Stranding, and that Kojima is not the genius that he claims he was during the earlier Metal Gear games?
I think Metal Gear Solid 4 is excellent and has a soul.
Yeah.
So I think all four of those games I think are incredible.
I think Metal Gear Solid 5 is excellent, and I'm sure from a story standpoint, I think it's immensely disappointing.
I think it is really great, but it suffered from unfortunate circumstances.
It did suffer from unfortunate circumstances, but I think even with those unfortunate circumstances, like, that is an open world stealth game that feels really incredible and is super fun to play, and you can have so much creativity with how you move forward.
But I think the other games have that.
They don't. But not on the same scale.
I'm saying incredible gameplay with also a really great story.
Sure.
5 story just pitters out completely.
Sure. But for me personally, I think there's enough good in Metal Gear Solid 5 that I think there is reason for me to get excited about a new Kojima project.
Sure, absolutely.
And another thing that I will make, and like throwing around the word genius is pretty hard. I don't know if I'm willing to commit to the word genius, but man, video games can be really boring sometimes.
Yes.
And like, just think about what we saw with Death Stranding. Like, it's at least very interesting, right? Like, it's at least weird and bizarre and cool.
Yeah, it's super
weird, bizarre,
completely
cool, and
different than anything we've seen.
Yeah.
Is
And
what
so,
Kojima's
like,
gonna give you.
I agree. I think mindless screams get annoying, and I think
Yes.
we're all guilty of that. I think Easy Ally is certainly guilty of that. But I think, like, there's reason behind those screams still. Ian, what do you think? Do you think Kojima deserves the recognition?
I've definitely heard that opinion before, and from people like in and outside of the industry, like where they were kind of just like, hey, maybe Kojima just like saw the opportunity to not speak up and let everyone think Konami was nuts, but really like the problem was with him. And like, I'm not saying I think that or know anything, but like, it's definitely a theory I've heard before, and it makes sense to some degree. I mean, like, we don't know the information, so like we have no idea, and any speculation is speculation. And I guess I'm inclined to blame a faceless corporation than a human being.
Right.
But corporations are comprised of human beings, and these games are all made by a bunch of people, not just one man.
But, and the thing with Konami, right, is it's not just like they're screwing over the way that like,
their
Kojima
other stuff is
handled.
weird too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so like if the glove fits, like whatever. But like Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, like, certainly it would be easy to believe that Kojima is a megalomaniac or whatever, or certainly, like, weird. But, like, I, for one, welcome weirdness, and, you know, I'm excited for Death Stranding. Like, Death Stranding is where we find out, basically. Right. Like, this is what happens when, like, you have a filmmaker that had the reins in before, and then, like, for whatever reason, they go off on their own, or, like, they work with different people and no one is telling them no anymore. That's when you see their true metal. That's when you see if this person is a genius or insane. And, like, Death Stranding is going to be the one that tells us, I think. Like, we're going to at least have a hint one way or the other with Kojima from Death Stranding. So really it all rides on that. I
also think I think that was all really well said, Ian. I also think another thing for me that I've had to learn over time is, like, if you expect something to make you feel like the thing that was responsible for so much of your life, sometimes we put things on such a high pedestal that it can't be reached because of the point in time that we encountered it and, like, the shape that we were in. So, like, Metal Gear Solid for me is the reason why I'm doing this job in the first place. It hit me so hard and it made me so interested in video games that I owe a lot to that game that I probably wouldn't if that spot had been filled by something else.
Right.
And something else had kind of ignited that passion in the way that it did. And I think other things could have done that, and I wouldn't feel as strongly about Metal Gear Solid. And so I think I was disappointed in Metal Gear Solid 2 originally because I wanted it to feel exactly like that again, and it can't because that was a very specific thing. And so if you want Metal Gear Solid 1, if you're always being like, this has to make me feel exactly like Metal Gear Solid 1 is, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment and failure and frustration at Kojima. Whereas in
that's
my
part
mind,
of his power, right? Is, like, subverting your expectations.
Right. And exactly that, like, what made you fall in love with him in the first place is that he's doing all of these things that other people aren't doing.
Right.
Yeah.
For better and for worse.
Yeah, I agree.
And like,
so
sometimes it's a
power's
risk that
still
pays
there.
off and doesn't, you know? Yeah.
As for the actors kind of thing, he was saying he thinks the actors kind of thing is overhyped, and he just picked them because...
Right. This is a good thing to
Like,
bring up,
100%, I think he picked these actors because he likes them, but I think he wrote the characters specifically for these actors, though. I think he specifically wrote this role for Norman Reedus.
Oh, yeah.
He had this in mind. He wrote that role for Mads Mikkelsen. He wrote that role for Guillermo.
Right.
He had that laid out in mind, not just, I'm going to throw a random person into here.
Right. And the other thing that I completely agree with you on is he was working with Norman and Guillermo before,
Yes.
and he developed a very close relationship with them. And
Death
so going
Stranding
into
is rising out of the ashes of Silent Hills.
And so to saying that he just did it because he thought they were cool, I don't think so. I think he just really respects Guillermo as a director.
Now, on the hand of this Kiefer Sutherland as Snake, I wonder if that was the case.
Yeah, that I agree with you, and I think it's a good thing to bring up. Kiefer Sutherland definitely felt more of like a hey,
celebrity.
I can do this.
Yeah.
Let's put it in. I don't know if I've seen an argument for why it had to be this way.
What I heard was Kojima just wanted it. He was just like, nope, done with you. We're doing this.
Which I think Kiefer did a fine job, and I know not everybody feels that way, but like,
I think he did a good job. It's a
very
big
weird.
It's a big shoe to fill.
yeah, but it doesn't resonate with me the way that like
David Hayter.
like Hater is Snake. Right.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like
Right.
for as, fine of a job as he did, I'm not like, oh, Kiefer Sutherland is
Yeah,
Snake.
Snake is
He didn't
David
reach
Hayter.
that level.
Well, and, like,
of resonance
correct
with
my
me.
timeline, but, like, didn't David Hayter already voice this version of Snake
No.
before?
No. Spoilers.
No.
Okay.
Is the answer to that question.
Okay.
That's as far as we can go.
I'm
with
sorry
that.
if I just inadvertently ruined 5. I never finished it.
Wait. Ground Zeroes, though.
Let's just stop talking about this.
Okay.
We're going to move on. We actually, unfortunately, have to get out of here a little bit early, so we're not going to do 3 emails. We're just going to do one more.
Okay.
And this one is from Tim, and I really like this email as well. He says, frustrating patches. Hey, Ben, it's been a while, singing internally since I've mailed in.
Been a while.
Recently, Blizzard have added and made a few changes to Overwatch that are really beginning to sour the experience for me. In particular,
this.
they added a character called Bridget, a support tank. Brigitte, yes, thank you.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
Brigitte?
it is.
Yeah.
I
mean,
knew
I'm
that
probably not perfect at it, but
and
yeah.
fucked it up. Brigitte. A support tank who has basically become a must-pick character and has, in my opinion, made the game worse. I love Overwatch, but this is the first time I feel like the players are really being pushed away. My question is, has there ever been a change to a game you love that has really made you dislike that game or even made you stop playing the game entirely?
Wow.
Yes, multiple times with Hearthstone.
Oh, yeah.
It's...
Like right now?
It's not always Hearthstone's problem. Part of the time it's my problem, but it's a game that I've played a lot, too much of, that I just get so sick of seeing the same decks or seeing how broken things are and how slow. I think that's the thing with Blizzard that can be really frustrating, particularly with Hearthstone, is they are so slow to fix it that it's like if you don't like this thing, you're probably not going to like it for a long
months.
time.
Yeah, until next season or whatever.
In very recent developments, I think they're getting a little bit better at it, but it is a problem I have suffered in the past. So Hearthstone is the one that jumps to mind. WoW as well, like just not feeling an expansion or something.
Sure, yeah.
So this sounds like a Blizzard problem.
It might be a Blizzard problem.
Well, I mean, I can't think of a lot of multiplayer games I played a lot for years besides Blizzard games.
Sure.
For me, it's like, I think it's just a combination of a bunch of little things just piling up.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I need a break. Like, Overwatch, I'm just like, I've been playing for a while, and then, like, the Mercy meta was real hot. I was like, this isn't fun, this sucks.
Are there specific examples of games, though?
Like Mercy, though. Like I said in Overwatch, when she was, like, dominating, you had to have her on her. I think she's really boring to play, so I wasn't into it at all.
Can we think of a non-Blizzard
game?
example?
Oh, God, like, multiplayer
I mean,
games?
Destiny, kind of. Like, they change
Destiny,
stuff all the
absolutely.
time.
Oh, Destiny,
Like,
absolutely.
is like,
Just
dude.
because I got burned out,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the
well,
new stuff
burned out
wasn't-
and burned repeatedly.
Sure,
Just like,
absolutely.
this
Destiny's
cost
a
$20 and
great
it was
example.
nothing. Like,
Yeah, like 3 missions.
Yeah, like I beat it in literally 40 minutes. Like, come on.
This is
That's good.
bending the question a little bit, but in the original Phantasy Star Online, my character got hacked,
Oh, baby.
and that killed a
hurts.
lot of my
That
interest.
hurts, yeah.
Not for no fault of the game, kind of.
This isn't a game, but damn it, Premiere.
Just air it out. Just air it out, man.
12.1.1 build 10 is a train wreck. Oh my god. Sound problems, export
so
problems.
bad. I hear you guys
Premiere-
complain about it all
Premiere-
the time.
Stability- It's a nightmare. Premiere's a
Like,
nightmare.
here's the thing. Premiere is an amazing piece of software. It's so good, but their stability on updates is atrocious.
It's hard for me to call it an amazing piece of software, and I have to qualify that by saying it's amazing when it works.
Yeah, I mean,
When it works, it's great.
balancing for like a billion different kinds of PCs, like I don't envy the task, but like when an update comes out with this many problems that everyone is having, it's like, how did you miss these? But yeah, I mean, I do stand by Premiere. I love Creative Cloud. I mean, I think that most those programs are so good, and I forgot how to use Avid. So
I cede to you because you are a much better, more experienced editor than I am, but like I get really frustrated with it.
here's
all
the
time.
deal. I mean, like nonlinear editing, like I started when it started, kind of like more or less,
Yeah.
and like it's always been a buggy nightmare. Like weird fixes to problems is just part of being an editor.
Right.
And like a lot of houses will just stay like a whole year behind sometimes forever.
Just so they don't run into
Just so they
those
don't run
things.
into these stability problems. And it's like, that's just kind of part of the nature of the beast.
Brutal.
Also not a game, but come the fuck on, Windows 10. This latest update has
yeah.
caused so many weird problems.
The weird
for
thing,
me
it
that make
always
no
like messes
goddamn
up the
sense.
sound every time. I'm
Like-
like, why are you breaking the sound every
why
time?
is Windows Explorer just suddenly not working for no
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah, and you, like,
why
get
do
a
I have to
media pack.
restart my
Yeah.
computer
For 3
in order to
months.
make this program work?
Right. It's just like, what is happening?
Yeah. The most recent Windows 10 update has been frustrating for me.
Yeah, I've heard a
personally.
lot of problems about that.
It's funny though, because like games like Overwatch are the biggest contenders for this sort of problem, right? Where it's like, just in the nature of the game, the characters have to be different to be interesting. But because of that, the meta will always be like, I do wonder if there's a way to perfectly balance a game like this where there are different characters with different abilities,
Well,
like a
what-
Street Fighter or whatever. Like,
Right.
is it possible to have every character be viable in a different way? Like, I don't know.
Well,
You'd have
what's-
to think about it so hard.
What's interesting about this question, and it's interesting that you bring up Street Fighter specifically, is and I think the reason why we're struggling to come up with answers is you have to play a game and love a game enough that something
Right.
like this would bother you.
You
And I
have to
think
be
for-
an expert at something, I think.
Right.
Besides,
And so,
like,
for-
Destiny.
For something like a lot of fighting games, we just don't have the skill to maybe be
Right.
bothered in the same way. Which I'm not saying that it can't happen; it totally can. But I think that's the reason why we're struggling is we don't play it enough and are not at that level to really understand or get pissed
Right.
off.
I think
for why
about
it's
things
happening.
like, because most patches fix things, right? But sometimes patches fix one thing and break another thing.
Right.
But the nice thing about living in the time that we live in is, like, say Vermintide 2 gets patched and something gets weird, they fix it later.
Well, patches are not just like patches in the traditional sense anymore. It used to be like a patch was just we're fixing shit. That's all we're doing. Now it's like, hey, we're taking the game in a totally new direction.
Right.
And so you just have a lot more reason to be upset because they will, in some instances, completely change the game.
A big example for this is Stellaris, which for the Apocalypse, I think it's called, DLC, it came along with a huge update to the game that changed the way like space travel works fundamentally.
Right.
And I kind of like it, but I know a lot of people were like, because they took away 2 options. They removed them, at least from the beginning of the game. And like, that's a huge change. And like, it's a gutsy move and they explained it well. And it's like, here's why we did this. And I'm like, that makes sense. It makes the game better on the whole. But yeah, it's like gutsy stuff like that can definitely burn people.
Sure.
Oh, got it, dude. Wow. Last time we quit was because of the random loot box you get when you do something. I hated that in Battlegrounds. You just get like a loot box. Like, what is this?
I was not doing Battlegrounds at that time, so that didn't affect
that's like
me.
when me and my brother quit.
Sure.
Ugh,
Yeah.
hated it. Don't bring it back.
Randomization bullshit.
Yeah, I hate it.
All right, always good to end on anger and frame trap. Really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. But no, sincere thank you to my panelists here. Thank you, Bradley Ellis. Thank you, Ian Hink.
Yeah.
Thank you to you. If you've been listening to the show this entire time, appreciate you watching. And again, if you want to join that Pokemon Book Club, there's going to be a link in the description below. There's also links to the sponsors. And of course, there's timestamps, which at this point is probably too late, but you can skip to anything you want in there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support us, you can go to patreon.com/easyallies. And that's it. We're out. Until next time.